Morning.
Morning. Web caption.
Oh my goodness. What a way to end the stream. Wow. Wow.
That's how you start the show.
We're here. We are here.
Hold on. It says take my penis for 25 minutes straight. I need to straighten that out. Hold on. That's not what I said. I said I yelled at it for 25 minutes straight. Okay. I won't give you any further context than that. Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. That's true.
Oh,
That's so funny. Oh.
I think you're muted.
Muted?
I'm muted. All right, I'm back.
There you go.
So yeah, good morning, everybody. Now I've learned a valuable lesson. Refresh the browser speed before every stream, before you do the scene transitions. This is a pro stream. Good morning, friends! For Noir, it was one hell of a wake-up call.
Somebody's gonna be like, he is just a problem. We need to get him out of the paint. It's not. Oh.
Y'all are great. Y'all are wonderful beings.
So how's everybody doing today?
Nope, it's not friend. Lucia's in chat. She's got it. She knows you.
Nope, that's on brand.
This is Noir Brand Shenanigans. I am, yes, 100% this is.
Oh god, I really
this is the
need to be on
chaos
my best
that
behavior.
we summoned Noir to this stream for.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
I'm glad that everybody's having a good time. If someone wants to screen cap that.
Or no.
Probably already
best
done.
not to. No, alien!
Already on it. Treacherous motherfuckers. Is this how we gonna start our morning? With betrayal.
Betrayal and fighting the chat once again. Good morning.
I have no choice but to fight the chat now. You saw what they did.
Yeah.
You did this to yourself.
True. That's true.
Hey, so news for this stream. This is exciting. Apparently if you yell enough at a company, they'll give you sponsorships. So we're an affiliate of Found Familiar now. You can see their logo up in the top corner of the screen over there.
Oh my
god! So, yeah, here, exclamation point FF in chat. Yeah, so if you go to the affiliate link and enter Christmas Cafe, you can get 10% off your order, and good for you. I get maybe a little bit of a kickback. That's a thing. Yeah, yelling gets results, and also filling out a form on their website, because it's really easy.
Yes.
Yelling with a side of begging. Like,
yelling with just a little bit of ask.
A sin, baby, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, we've been pretty much yelling about their coffee since day one. And I'm drinking Thieves' Cant this morning. I can't really do a smooth advertisement, but hey, if you like coffee and you like TTRPGs, I would definitely give them a check out, give them a recommend. They have really good blends and shit. I mean, I've been just doing this for free for 3 episodes. It's just, it seems awkward now.
Yeah.
Now that there's actually some sort of stake in this.
Right.
But yes.
If you enjoy our content, check out Found Familiar. We're selling out as fast as we can.
What a way.
We're doing it for the love of the game, baby. We trying to get chips. We trying to get paid.
I'm gonna. So I think I originated this first, but I just watched the last narrative telephone from Critical Role, and Taliesin Jaffe also has this problem with his camera. So I don't feel bad about it anymore.
No.
Having the fuzzy camera and constantly being like, "Hey, I'm here. Can you focus on my face, please?"
Mine does the same thing, and I just call it racist and move on.
Oh.
You know what? We're on Discord, so I'm just gonna turn it back on and turn it off again, so I don't have to deal with that.
Yeah, start your morning ritual right with Found Familiar.
Alright, so we should probably get on some sort of topic. So let's start with the most obvious thing here, other than some mishaps with web captioning. We've got Ray!
We've got a Ray
Hey!
today.
Hi!
She's right down there.
Hi!
And we have web captioners
And yeah,
today.
let's do that. Oh, yes, we do have web captioner, which is really fun, really awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
awesome
I've been
is what it
slowly
is.
trying to incorporate it over all my streams, because being accessible is always a bonus. So yes. Yeah, it almost corrected me to boner there, and let's be real.
They have some weird, web captioner, like, because I watch like my face when I stream. I watch it on OBS just to make sure everything's coming in great. And then every once in a while, I'll look down at web captioner. It's like a string of words I did not say.
No, but eventually it corrects you.
Chad is over here talking shit.
We had Anthony on last night.
You think you slick?
AJ or Husha Kid was on last night when we did System Shock. We did just a random.
What game did you guys do?
We did a RPG called Cram. It is. I need to figure out what that actually stands for again. It is generally like. Here, let me just open up the thing. Here we go. Pro streamer, everybody. I know what I'm talking about most times.
You don't want none of this, Latia. I will put the pause on you. You not ready.
No. Oh no.
One sec, we're
But yeah.
Let me stop before the whole cast of Rivals finds me in the corner and starts stomping me.
Sorry, my Photoshop opened
You
up.
play. It's called Cram.
It's Cram. It's a compressed roleplay adventure manual. It's a one-page RPG that was written by Rusty Jared. You can find it on onepage.rpg.com. We kind of wound up breaking the system a little bit, for no reason other than the fact that there are certain things in the system that need to be tweaked. But it was pretty fun. It was pretty fun to run it, and I ran. Everybody came up with a pitch, and I managed to combine them somehow in the weirdest way possible. We were told. So our prompts were high school superheroes.
Okay.
What was it? High school superheroes, Rainbow Swamp, high fantasy, post-apocalyptic, hopeful, optimistic, and 1920s gangsters.
And you had to mix all that together?
I kind of took it as a challenge to mix it all together. I wasn't planning on it. We were going to settle on one, and I was like, well, why don't we just combine everything? So,
I'm here for this chaotic energy.
It was a little bit of a mess. One of our
Is
players,
the VOD?
The VOD is available on the channel. Yes.
Check that out, because I know I'm going to, because that sounds like
it was only
beautiful
2 hours.
Clusterfuck.
It was a 2-hour clusterfuck, but it was amazing. It was fun. Yeah. I was on my phone, clip didn't quite get right. I'll get a proper one after the stream's done. Nice. You either need to apologize or fight me, and my hands are already up, says Anthony. And Litia says, would like to guest on Morning Ritual. Litia, we could make that happen so that you can fight Noir personally. Yes.
See, that's the secret.
Do it.
The secret
Do it.
is
Yeah.
you pick a fight with the audience, and then that's how you get guests.
That's how you get guests. Because I think
Yeah, exactly.
the first episode, the exact words after Ray entered chat was, "Hi Ray, it's good to see you. Sorry, now I have to fight you."
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
I don't recall saying that.
I was like, all right, all right, cool. This is I'm here.
That's what we're here for.
I'm about to get my ass whooped.
You are. All max 20. Put up your dukes, Noir.
Man.
You know what? I am kind of glad the convention's closed right now, because I swear to God, if like Gen Con or Gen Con was next week, I'd be getting fucked up.
Oh my goodness.
I'm just imagining more and more shows getting together to fuck me up, like Rivals fucking me up, and then Dicey Amazon's fucking me up, and then Critical Role's just like, well, we want to be cool too.
Oh
Next thing I know, Tennessee Jaffe is stomping me in the face.
Yo, like for real, on a real level, real quickly, just in terms of like storytelling, like having like, especially like Critical Role, they took that time off obviously, and everybody was like what the heck? Where, like, what are we gonna do? And having people kind of like dive into other stories, dive into other games during that period of time, and then having them come back, like, I don't know about anybody else, but I was feeling like a super depression, like game depression lull, where I was just like, I don't feel inspired. I don't feel like wanting to play. I'm just tired. Like, there's no stories that I have or I feel compelled to tell, or like, I don't know. There was just like this weird lull. But as soon as Critical Role came back, the position that they were in the story is now so encapsulating and so like forward moving that it kind of sucks you back in, and it's like that creative energy has been kind of almost sparked all over again.
Yeah.
And it's not just from Critical Role, but it's just from like everybody having that energy back, because a big part of the community is back in a place where we feel like we need it. So it's been like this weird thing, but now everybody seems to kind of like be congealing back together in this like RPG space a little bit. Yeah. And it's been a little bit more comforting lately.
Yeah, there definitely is a renewed energy in the space. Once Critical Role was gone, it did create a huge vacuum, and it was very interesting to see what happened when the monster of TTRPG is fucking gone. Like, who's gonna step up? Who's gonna do something? And I did see a bit of a surge in audience, in new audience for some of the shows I was watching, and some of the shows that I was in. Just people desperately trying to find something to fill the void. I for sure think that this is a very important lesson to shows, that you never know when the opportunity is going to come to really make your presence felt here. Yeah. And I know I took some lessons away from their absence. And I've also taken some lessons from their return. Like they're back, but they're not like 100% back.
Yeah,
because guidelines and restrictions and everything.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of crazy seeing just what made Critical Role. Like, there are just so many little things that are missing now that were such a part of their DNA. Like, just being close to each other and being able to whisper in those little moments. Like, if we take, I can't spoil the.
I have not caught up. Fair warning.
I'm not going to spoil anything.
Yeah, no spoilers here. No spoilers here.
I'm just going to say there was a revelation that would have been presented differently.
Yes.
Had everybody been closer together.
Yep.
And because that was gone, a story beat hit differently than it would have a traditional Critical Role. And I think that that's important. It's important to look at the little things in a show and keep that in the back of your mind so that when it's your turn to create something, you can kind of balance balance every portion of it, you know? Like every little bit matters.
And that's another thing too. Oh no, go ahead, Anita.
D wants to know if you think that it hit better or just different.
I think it hit better.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
Agreed.
Agreed. Yeah.
And it's one of those things. Like I have a very tense relationship with meta in my games, and so like getting a genuine response, I think is. I mean, honestly, I would have preferred nobody said anything, and that person who it affected as strongly as it did found out when they put it together. Like that would have been 100% how I wanted it.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, having it all said and done after the story wrapped, that was as good as you're gonna get in terms of Critical Role.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm not spoiling anything, and I think I'm explaining myself all right.
I've watched enough that I think I know what you're talking about. So yes.
Yeah, still no spoilers.
Yeah, still no spoilers. But it's the same for a lot of home games right now. You don't have that intimacy and that snappiness of like in person that really does change the story, says Alien. And then Latia says, I think that redacted finding out later was better than them finding out in the moment.
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
But watching it all come together was so good.
I mean, I think... Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, I remember watching that moment and like, I was like, oh my god! I was like, oh no! Oh! I was like physically having a reaction, the same reaction that they were having because I had put the pieces together just maybe like 0.2 seconds behind everybody else, and then as soon as it was said, I was like, oh my god, I was right! Oh my god! And then it was like this whole big thing, but it was funny because you find out that person could have found out sooner had they just looked at their surroundings a little bit differently. So it's crazy to see like these little things, and also like I feel like Critical Role is now somewhat in the very small context experiencing what a lot of us experience in the tabletop space right now of playing online, and how you need to like the nuances and how you interact with people are differently because you don't have that closeness. Even if you are in the same room, like it's more of the paying attention to body language, paying more attention to tone, paying more attention to like the inflection, the way things are said, and the cadence. Like you have to pay more attention, actually be a better listener in those situations than you do, I feel like, when you are in close contact because of those little things like the pushing, the touching, the being in that space and actually like feeling the energy of the person. So when you have that like more distance, it like Noir was saying, like it creates a different atmosphere, and it's just something that like we haven't seen from them, and it's interesting now watching them kind of move into this new evolution of their storytelling and the way that they interact with each other on the show.
And the thing is I don't think that would have happened if it wouldn't have been for the way that things are right now.
Yeah.
Completely.
I just think that the thing that I'm most grateful about with that particular revelation is that the player found out as the player and not the character that they are in this campaign. Because having to digest that and then still be the character that they're playing, it would have diluted who they are now, because they would be so focused on who they were, I think.
Mm-hmm. Still no spoilers. But now I know exactly what you're talking about. D says, I think the only thing that it's hindered by, though, is that they would have gone into the internet in the interim of it and been spoiled one way or another, because it's pre-recorded now.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. I keep forgetting.
Yeah. Like if we have a home game and we have a story beat, we don't jump back into our personal stories until the next time we play. They all have social media throwing theories and what ifs on their way in between, right?
Yeah.
Because as soon as like a lot of things that happen from game to game, like you'll have the fan mail that like takes one thing that Mercer says or one thing that someone says, and then like dissects it to the point where they can pretty much predict the plot a lot of the time.
Yeah.
But yes, having it pre-recorded is actually kind of a boon in their case because it gives them more authentic reactions and they rely less on, or they see less. I don't even know how much they would see online though, when you're in that space versus.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
So have you guys? Have y'all? have y'all done pre-recorded games before?
I have not.
I am now doing my second pre-recorded game, and I think I kind of love it. It's just, it's just, there's something magical in the fact that like once you put it out, it's out, and there is no reacting or changing anything.
It's just
like
how it is.
Yeah, it's just. I mean, and I. The first pre-recorded thing I did, like it's still on the back burner. But the second one that we're doing, even though it's like more comedy based, there's still like moments where it's just like I can't wait to see how people digest that, and knowing that it exists, it's there, and no matter how they digest it, it is what it is. It's pure. This came of the people in the room, the people involved, and that's how it is forever. I think that is one of the glorious bits of pre-recorded games, and I think there needs to be more of them.
I think a pre-recorded one shot.
Ooh.
But that was just a one-on-one session with me and the DM.
But how was that? Like, how is a one-on-one game? Because I've talked to people about doing like when the Sidekick Adventures came out and doing the one-on-one sort of like interactions with a DM, and like I just saw, I'm gonna shout her out because Lily Sparks is amazing. You should go follow Lily. She's incredible. But she just got engaged through a one-shot with one-on-one with her DM, and that, I mean, that's super cute. But like interacting with the person one-on-one, I've never been able to play in that sort of space. Do you find yourself different? Like, do you find yourself thinking differently than you do in a normal game, or how do you respond in that space?
I kind of do as well. Like, I feel so just before we go into this, Anthony, our Husha Kid, is currently in a pre-recorded game. It makes it feel like a podcast, and Alien says it's like doing an acting gig, more like theater. I'd agree with that for sure. I find with the pre-recorded one-shot I did, it was a flashback for my character. My character's an amnesiac, has no idea who they are, where they came from. But the one-shot is sort of what happened in the day before they lost their memories. So, a lot of spoilers. But I found that I was being a lot more apprehensive as a player.
Oh,
like I was less averse to take risks for the sake of the scene, and it really changed how the character was, I think, because a lot of it was the character that I play, Ophelia, is very impulsive and like very like chaotic. But when I was in this one shot, I felt like this is who she was before now, and who she was played it a little bit too safe in her day-to-day life.
That's really interesting, especially like I almost feel, because like this is just how my brain kind of processes it, but like when you're alone, you don't have like the safety net of your party and being able to rely on other people. So I feel like that would inherently make the choices more drastic and bigger consequences in your mind,
and it made me feel like I needed to play it safer.
So funny story with that. I have DM'd a few one-on-one sessions, and I find that they're very helpful tools in. Okay, so I had a player, and this comes back to that guy discussion that we had on another episode, Anita.
It's like the last episodes or last 2 episodes.
I know, right? Because I hate that guy. But I had a player who in the party was always apprehensive, would let other people talk over and that kind of stuff. And and then I did a one-on-one session with her, and like complete shift. Like she was clever, like bold, just an overall badass. Like in this one shot, she became the most badass character in the campaign to me. And then we went back to a party session, and it was the quiet meekness again, and that signaled to me like, okay, we need to take a step back and look at what the fuck is going on here. So
Yeah.
I definitely advise one-on-one sessions. They help you see things that just in the moment of being a DM for an entire campaign you might not see. And it really helps to expose your players, like to give them a chance, and it introduces you to their play style away from the distractions of other people, so that you can see, like, okay, if this is what this person's instinct is telling them, why aren't they following their instincts with the party? And that might be a problem that you're not addressing.
That's actually a very good point.
Yeah, it's really interesting to consider about it. Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I felt like when I was in the one-on-one session that I almost overthought a lot of my choices, and I was worried about consequences more so as the character before the whole amnesia thing. But yeah, the whole thing like was a really neat circle, and it all got kind of tied up with a nice little bow at the end. Because it ended exactly where the character's journey started. Naked in a field of flowers, staring up at the sky, with no memories.
I'm so sorry.
I know, my heart. I'm just like, oh damn.
Like she lost everything. It was so fun. Like Ophelia is probably one of my favorite characters that I've played, and like she's just a joy. She's just a joy to play. Lydia likes pre-recorded games when the cast meshes really well. You get the energy that you normally don't get from the viewers from each other. And yes, apparently she blew Noir up. One-on-one sessions is a good place for character development, I think, as well. Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. And then one-on-one sessions where it's a player who's missed a session, and you get caught up. What were you doing while you were off? We've had a couple of those on the Wednesday stream as well. A couple one-on-one sessions where it's just like, this character died. Here's what happens next.
Yeah.
And it's the same as with the TV show. Sometimes you say the main character's going off on their own, and they act way differently. Yeah, exactly.
I do have a comment about that specific comment too, because like I have fully dived very deeply into Star Wars and watching Clone Wars, and I just finished watching Clone Wars, and that was something that I noticed immediately in the show. Like immediately was that whenever these certain characters had their one-off episode, even down to the droids, so like R2-D2 and C-3PO, they had a couple episodes where they would go off and do their own thing, and you got to see so much personality, you got to see so much comedy, so much brevity that they don't really get to showcase because they're just side characters, they're just helpful droids. And I like that aspect, and like bringing that bringing that back to tabletop games, like these one-on-one sessions, like I'm actually now upset that I've never played in a one-on-one session. Like, I feel like that would be so rewarding for some of the characters that I've played, especially previously, like when I first started playing D&D, and like, I still do this now. I have a terrible time creating backstories for characters that are like deep and rich, like, because I like when the DM puts the maneuverability and the flexibility in my backstory to incorporate that into the story deeply and wholesomely. Like, so my very first campaign that I ever played in for D&D was streamed. It was called Tilt, and I played a arcane trickster tiefling. She was the very first character I ever rolled up, and I kept her safe, and I kept her with me for like 8 months until this campaign because my last one fizzled out. And when I finally got the time to play her and work through her, I realized that her backstory was basically empty. And the DM at the time, who was an amazing person, her name's Kelly Lane. You should go follow her on Twitter. She's amazing. She built her backstory into the actual story so like deeply and richly that it gave such a sense of purpose to my character. And from then on, I've been trying to mediate between like having such a rich background and having it empty or open enough where the DM can put things in there that I don't know about, because I love being surprised as my character. And that's something that I've done with the current character that I'm playing. So I play a Furling. She is a homebrew race of a Furbolg and a Tiefling. So she's a Furling Runechild sorceress. And I gave like this background of how she was part of a Furbolg clan, and they found out that she was part Tiefling and wanted her dead. So then she ran away and got adopted by this like prominent sorcerer who adopted her and took care of her and gave her everything she ever wanted in life. But beyond that, I didn't really write much. I was just immediate. Right. Like, I like to give backstory within the last like 2 or 3 years of the person's life, because beyond that, I like things to be maneuverable. So like recently I just found out that now she has a grandfather, and this grandfather has all this stuff happening with him that she never knew about. So it's like it pulls you into the story and it lets you find aspects of your character that are deeper and that have a little bit more meaning than, obviously putting 10,000 daggers in front of your DM and being like, okay, which one are you going to stab me with now? Because what knives. Yeah, I like not knowing what's coming for my character and being authentically surprised or having that raw emotion in the moment. So I always struggle between writing a super rich background and keeping it super flexible and open.
Exactly.
So I think my preference with backstories, and I got this from Nomadic. He introduced this to me in the Expanse game that we're doing. It's a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 type system, and it's just like, shit, I can't actually pull this up, because this is when I was working on it, I was just like, this gives just enough to be interesting, but not so much where I'm bogging him down with just like, and then at the turn of the century, my character did this, because I think one of the things that a lot of people forget when it comes to the backstory is that you want the interesting shit to happen in the game. Like, if your character fought an undead Dracolich one-handed with the legendary blade of the gods in the backstory, then what story do I have left to tell? Your character is already done, like, essentially. But so it's got to be enough to be interesting, but not so much that that there's no story left to tell for that character. And here I have it here. It's write 5 concepts that are developmental and integral to your character. Then it's write 4 goals. Then create 3 NPCs. Create 2 secrets for your character, and develop 1 reason they're going on this adventure.
Oh, I love that. That's super similar to the 10-minute background, the 10-minute background prompt that a lot of DMs have given me, and actually that's how I wrote the current character I play in my homebrew game. Is that it's a 10-minute background where it's very similar. You do like 2 secrets, or a secret that they know and a secret that they don't know. Like 2 or 3 different characters that are related to them, an enemy, a friend, and an acquaintance, like stuff like that, so that not only are you building out your background, you're giving the DM things to put into the world as well that help your character move their story along. And I think like all of those prompts are really, really fun. So yeah, if anybody's got cool prompts, please share them, because I'm always down for like new writing exercises when it comes to characters to try and get in that mindset, at least me personally.
So on the vein of this, let me ask this question. What, as a GM, what are your backstory pet peeves? Because I've got like 3.
Yeah, y'all can start that one off. I need a second to think about that one.
Background pet peeve number 1. Not a single NPC in their backstory. Everybody they've ever met has died. Like,
no family, no friends. Dio already put that in chat.
Thank you, D. Like, I went out to get a pack of cigarettes the other day, and the guy that sold me those packs of cigarettes died. Like, my uncle, he took me fishing one time, and then he died. And then my dad, he went to go get cigarettes as well, and then the guy that he bought those cigarettes from, he died. And then my dad, he died. And then my mom,
Yeah.
died. Come on, bro. Like, you didn't have a friend? You didn't have an enemy? Just everybody died? Come on! Be more original than that. That's weak sauce.
Yeah.
And then I didn't know this was a pet peeve until like one of the last off-stream games that I GM'd. Alright. This dude had 2 false identities.
Oh god.
1 fake backstory that he would give everybody. He was a race that didn't fit the setting.
Oh no.
And he lied about his class as well. Like, bro, I get wanting to have the secret backstory, but there is a way to do it that's not obnoxious to the GM and nonsensical to the world. Like, and that's something that you don't just decide. That's something that you need to work with your GM on. And my last pet peeve, not working with your GM on stupid shit in your backstory. Like, come on. Just, come on.
Yeah.
So, let's see, from chat. Michael Dominic, who was in our game last night, says, backgrounds without hooks are a red flag, and it tells you that the players have more of a players versus GM mindset. Alien says, less of a pet peeve and more of a I want more is when a player tells me that their character has no goal or drive and just to wander and be aimless. I struggle not having anything I can present them to be interested with. Yeah, you work with your GM. Yeah, especially if you have no stakes in this, why are you risking your life? What are you doing? What is going to motivate you? Yeah, no character motivations, I think, is definitely one of mine. Or if I think also not necessarily you could have been a potato farmer.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah, why? I want to know why you're invested in this. I want to know why your character is interested in this campaign. And also, I think on the inverse of the no backstory or the nobody you love or care for, I think the 30-page deep lore is, though I have been guilty of this before in my past. I have done this.
Yeah, same here.
I have given my GM so much ammunition in a lot of games that I've been in. Like, yeah, Sphinx says, even making money is a goal.
Yeah, oh my gosh. And, well...
Level 1 veteran of 100 battles.
Yeah, like, and that's my thing too, is like, so I hate games that start off at level 1. I don't like it. Unless you are a teenager who has done nothing with their lives and is just a normal person studying to be some sort of hero or whatever. Like, I really dislike when games start at level 1 because it leaves so much difficulty with your backstory, because I'm like, oh, well, if you were a general in the war and you did all of this stuff, then why are you level 1? Why don't you have any skills of a general who was in a war? Like, That's why I generally start my games at level 3, but like backstory wise, it just helps the character and the person create that backstory. But like, one of my pet peeves, I think, and I'm so guilty of this because I think almost every character I've done or created has done this, but the whole I have never seen the world and I just want to adventure for the first time. And that's my trope. I play that trope very well, but I hate it when I have to GM it.
The Ariels.
Yeah. I hate having to GM a person like that because it's usually wrapped up in a lot of whimsy and a lot of naivety, which is fun for a little while, but unless that person starts to acclimate themselves to the world and actually play the character as learning and growing and kind of like being really, like having those genuine reactions of the world for the first time, like a lot of people don't play it like that, and they just play this like whimsy, naive, kind of like ditzy character. And while it's really fun, sometimes it's difficult to GM because you want them to get the gist and move forward and like actually put pieces of your story together. But like I like when that character trope is played very well.
Yes.
If somebody's genuinely playing it like, oh my gosh, I'm seeing the world for the first time, then it's really fun and you can bounce off that person really easily as a GM. But sometimes it's just kind of like distracting to the rest of the players who have a more fulfilling not fulfilling, but a more like
invested
just a thicker backstory.
Yeah.
A thicker backbone to go off of.
62-year-old half-orc paladin started at level 1.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's so difficult to start your characters or write a character that you genuinely want to play and then just stink them in level 1 because that's just easy. Yeah. It's just like level 1's where we start. Yeah. So it's always frustrating for me, like when I have to build a character. I'm just like, well, if she's level 1, what else would she do besides be a whimsied kid who's off on her own for the first time?
Yeah, that's kind
of how I think that's why I got stuck in that trope.
Yeah, that's how my character started. She's amnesiac, level 1, has no clue about the world, but is actually pretty insightful to the people that are in it.
And that's where you start to like, you can have that trope, but you grab something else extra from it that they're really good at, and they can really add to the game and to the group that you're with. And they're not just like that random character running around doing the things that are annoying to the rest of the party.
Yeah.
You know, so and it just occurred to me. It just occurred to me that Rin was also in a way an Ariel, and it's just kind of hidden me. In the sense that he was born and raised in the Shadowfell, and he was in the material plane for the first time. But rather than focusing on all the things that he didn't know, he focused on the things that he did know, which was, punching things.
Yeah. D says, one time I started a game where all 4 of the players were little kid versions of the characters they've made. Then we time skipped 5 years to level 2, and then we time skipped 5 more years to level 3. And then we started the campaign proper.
Sick.
So it gives you a nice prologue and establish the relationships between the characters ahead of time. Because it's not just, meet in a tavern.
I am going to steal that.
That is actually really good,
absolute shit out of that.
I love that.
That's dope.
I love that so much.
That's something that I definitely want to bring this up, because I think D&D, if they are going to improve on the system, I think that's where they need to improve, is the prologue-ish to a character, and in introducing them into adventuring in a different way.
Yeah.
Because a lot of other game systems, so I don't have experience with a ton of different game systems, but the one that I played over on Encounter Roleplay, the Haunting of Seawall Orphanage, the entirety of our session 0 was building our relationships between the characters. It was basically like a mini prologue where we all went through and built the world together. So not only did we understand each other, we understood our relationship with the world and what we knew about the characters in the world, what we knew about the town, what we knew about these places, all these secrets, because it was a small town. And that made it so more authentic. In starting that game felt like we had already been playing it for a year. And that's I think, super important to bring into D&D and have more of these like prologue, either one-on-one sessions, or like Dee said, like that's an amazing, I've never even thought about doing something like that. And now it's just like, oh, I think that might become a standard.
So with Kids on Bikes, it does that too. So when you create your characters, as part of it, you build relationships between the characters. One of the questions that gets asked is, do you know this character? And no doesn't necessarily mean you don't know them, because it's a small town and you can get across it with a bike.
Yeah.
No just means that, I see them in school, but I don't know them personally. Like, we're in the same grade. It's like, how many kids in your 5th grade class did you actually know?
Exactly.
Yeah, and one of the things that I love about the Powered by the Apocalypse systems, so far I've only played Urban Shadows and Monster Hearts, but the character creation is just as fun as the game itself, because it's just like, all right, we're going to find out who you are, and then we're going to find out how you're attached to everybody at the table. And it's just, and like, you know, I don't know if I'm running those systems correct, but the way that I like to do it is with Urban Shadows. They that game runs off of a currency called debt, where
Yeah,
you know
attack just mentioned
I
that in
owe
chat.
yeah, and it's just like, so we trade debt, and just in I owe you a debt because you saw me use my powers and you didn't say anything. Like that alone, just that sentence is a fucking memory that, you know, later on those two characters could have a moment,
Like-
and it's not starting from zero.
Yeah.
It's just
There's
like, you know,
that rapport that's already being built.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and
Just
I'm
comes
playing
baked
Urban
into the
Shadows right
system.
now too.
Yeah.
So go ahead, Anita.
No, it's just baked into the system. It's so good.
it's
Yeah,
so
and
good.
I'm playing Urban Shadows right now too, and that's one of my favorite things. Session Zeros have actually become so, I look forward to them so intently, because especially with these systems that allow you to create these relationships with characters before you get into your story, it allows everyone to feel more comfortable. And that is super important during role play, because if somebody doesn't feel comfortable, then you have the person who kind of sits back more times than not, who doesn't really participate, who doesn't really know how to voice their character or voice their opinion in the room. And it also mitigates the uncomfortable beginning of the first session, because you're like meeting for the first time and you're like, my character wouldn't really interact with you, but they have to, so I guess this is how it would go. So it just creates this seamless ability to move into story and move into that world and already have a solid concrete foundation of like who the character is, how they fit in this world, how they maneuver this world, and who they know in it.
Yeah.
And it's so amazing and comforting when you have that, because I find myself being a whole different role player in that setting than I do when I'm either uncomfortable or unaware, or just
you just don't
trying
know.
to maneuver it the way that I think it should be done, versus everybody being on the same page.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of just want to take the concept of the debt system and just apply it to other systems. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I don't play D&D any longer, but like, if I ever did get back to it, if I would want to have all my characters like, okay, you all made your characters, all right, here are debts, and you can cash them in for, I don't know, fucking advantage or something, you know, like, or something. Just give them some incentive. We make it palatable.
Yeah. It's just it's something that helps you build a relationship with the other characters. That definitely it works so much better than like, you all meet in a tavern. A wizard busts through the door.
Like, you know how many bars I've been in and I've never left with a party? That's been the most disappointing thing.
Disappointing thing that Dungeons & Dragons prepared me for.
Yeah, and so Jamie said, here's my take on level 1. There could be late bloomers. I'll be 42 next week, and I am a level 1 archaeologist. So there could be someone who has a lot of common sense but aren't as skilled. And I love that. However, a lot of people don't write their character as such. So it's difficult to be like, oh, I'm like 30, 40 years old and I've done all these things in my life, but you know, I'm still that person in terms of like, oh, I am older. However, I am just transitioning into this new kind of skill. Yeah. And I think I've never come across somebody who's written kind of that trope, but I like that. And I think that would be I would like to have a game like that where everybody was like either an adventurer or something, and then decided, hey, fuck that, we want to do this now, and have them all be like older characters who are almost kind of like boomers,
like a second
chance. And I hate saying that, but like trying to understand the world of this new thing that they are traversing instead of just already being kind of like in there. I think that's a very interesting kind of like trope to explore with a story, and like a group of like older characters who are starting to get used to this newer version of the world, or getting used to like this new skill that they're picking up. I think that's a really interesting kind of like story to tell.
The way that Wizard explains it is they pretty much say there's a difference between a guy who's decent with a sword and a fighter. Like, a fighter has that little extra something in them. but they don't build an infrastructure around creating a difference between the average guy with a sword and a fighter.
Yeah.
One of the things that I did appreciate about 3.5 is that it did have those classes.
It had
Like you
commoners.
had your commoners, you had your adept, you had your politician. Like you had like, okay, this is somebody that's good with a sword, but they don't got it, like, or
Yeah.
not yet. If they came out with classes or just some way to kind of illustrate, this guy is savage with a sword, but he hasn't trained up to the point where he can get extra attack or second wind or all that kind of shit. That would make sense, but they haven't gone and done that. There are some content that's been created by other people that have tried to fill that void. I know Joshua Barbeau has an NPC guidebook that has like your basic bartender, entertainer, that kind of thing to fill that void. But officially from Wizards of the Coast, there is nothing.
Right.
So, when they go, well, a fighter is different than a guy that's good with the sword. Bitch, how?
Right.
Explain to me.
And that's another interesting kind of thing. Now that the gears are turning, now it's just like, oh well, what if you had an adventure where everybody was a commoner, everybody just had a normal ass job, farmer, bartender, common folk just trying to make a living, but they all were friends, and then they decided we want to become more. Let us do something to become more, and kind of going through the story of how they actually become involved in that skill. I think that would be kind of interesting too, like a one shot or a very small, like a prologue arc. I think that would be really fun too, to be like just genuine normal people, and then just be like, you know what, I'm fucking tired of being a normal person. I want to be special, and then seeking out that thing that makes them special, or what they find in life that makes them special. That's like such a real thing that I feel like most people could connect to. That now that I feel like Dee's got me on this prologue kick now.
Yeah,
and I'm like, oh, how is
so can I tell you the story of Holden Cuttings?
Holden!
Yeah.
So, shout out to Raven, Raven, who hosted a game, DM by Joshua Barbeau, where we in fact played those classes that he made that were just bartenders and whatnot.
I love that.
Is that Rise of the Peasants? Or Peasants?
Yeah, that's something peasants. I'll link
it
in chat.
What a name! That's a perfect name.
So the basic premise of the game is that we were just living in a town of Daggerford, and then a troop of murder hobo heroes came in and just started wreaking havoc on the town, and we as peasants had to get rid of them.
That's crazy. I love that.
My dwarven bartender ended up getting a taste for murder.
Oh my god.
And before
and also
the game,
really quickly, because Dee asked before
yes,
we
totally
forgot.
Go ahead.
Yeah, have you ever played Vampire the Masquerade or any other system or anything in the WOD system?
World of Darkness.
No. But if anybody's running a game, I would gladly play, because I was a vampire teen. I was a vampire goth. And I would love to live out that vicarious life I had wanted to live out, at least at one point of my life. So if anybody has a Vampire the Masquerade game, I'm super interested, because that system looks mega interesting.
I have
Please
not
let
played.
me play as well.
Yeah, I have not played Vampire or Werewolf. However, I have played a little tiny bit, like maybe one session years and years and years ago, of Exalted.
What's Exalted?
I've never heard of that.
Exalted, you are all baby gods.
Oh my god! Oh my god, baby gods! Oh god!
It is very anime, very kung fu, very like you are all have sort of a spark of like divinity and goodness, and
I love it.
And yeah, you can do like, it's all based on doing amazing feats of like stunts and just creating things that, or doing things that are beyond mortal capabilities. Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah.
That's
but
fun.
it is another old White Wolf game, which was the original publishing company that did Vampire the Masquerade and Werewolf, and Jamie is wondering how he can add a vampire goth to his Kids on Bikes game.
Oh my goodness, I'd be the goth teen. I'd be the weird goth teen who like spray painted their bike entirely black and has like red handlebars, something just freaking weird. I'd be that weird kid in the neighborhood that not everybody really likes. That totally would be me in a Kids on Bikes game.
I love it. But yeah, Dee's been writing Chicago by Night. And if only there were some people that knew Chicago.
Hey!
Wait, did you write the Chicago by Night that's out?
Well,
or are you writing the...
Has been writing a chronicle called Chicago by Night. And if only we knew some people that knew Chicago.
I know Chicago.
I don't know it that well, but I live in it. If that means anything.
We'll link up as soon. Like I'm gonna finish Trouble in the Second City first because I've already been getting distracted. But I will definitely join you on that.
It was in the works before it aired. So now the name kind of has to change. It says D.
Oh no, I'm saying there's a source book for Chicago by Night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I want more Chicago content all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. Like I've been there's a one shot of what I'm planning to do that's already out. There's a little bit of a teaser for the Monster Heart game that we did in System Shock here with a few of the ideas that I have.
Oh, I love it.
And then I'm running the full-on Monster Heart Trouble in the Second City game over on Valkyra's channel. So it's gonna be all the Chicago love because I love this city, even when it doesn't love me back that much. I gotta pay for bags at Target. What the fuck is that? I'm not gonna get into that rant. You know how fucking mad it's like 87 goddamn cents. It's almost $1 for each bag. And then they ask you, and they don't tell you they're gonna charge you. They're just like, "You want a bag?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll get a bag." And then you look at the receipt, like, "What the fuck? They got me." Never again, though. I'll juggle. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to start that rant.
It's all
Bye.
Right. Bye.
Bye, Lauren.
Bye, Lauren. So yeah. It's 5 cents per bag here in Canada, just so you know. You won't be
5 cents?
Yeah, it's 5 cents per bag if you're paying for.
They charge my ass a whole extra 80.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
And these bags don't do shit other than hold shit.
People just want to make a quick buck. Always.
I'm not gonna get into that rant, but hang up. What?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, even cost us 10 cents. Yeah.
What the fuck is a co-op? First off, and second off.
A co-op isn't it when it's all like locally, it's like locally owned, locally grown, and they like work with other farmers and people in the area to produce this like place that people can come by. It's almost like a farmer's market, but in an actual like.
It is an actual.
It's like an actual thing.
It is an actual supermarket. But yes, a lot of it's community owned and operated.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Canadians know what's up. Look, these Canadians are starting to get a little too brazy for my liking.
Canadians in the chat sound off.
Yeah,
it's also a grocery chain.
Ahead of the curve. Y'all are ahead of the curve.
I know, honestly, I'm just mad because I want to be there. I don't want to. I mean,
to go to there.
I want to go to there.
Yeah. You're gonna fight all of Canada now. You're gonna upgrade from the chat to just all of Canada.
Yeah.
Yep. Just open my door and it's just a bunch of motherfuckers on mooses.
We ride at dawn.
Yo, I recently saw a video of a moose on a highway in Canada, and that motherfucker was big than a midget.
I have a friend who lives in Alaska, and there's moose that come through his backyard all the time. Literally like 100 feet from his door. And those things are massive. They are
I thought they were deer
huge.
size.
They are
No,
giant.
they are fucking truck size.
They can get bigger than a truck. I have seen them in real life, and like, they big. I like also saying, like, it's not like there's wildlife everywhere, but literally, like, a couple weeks ago when I was back near my hometown, we went up to one of the mountain ski towns nearby, and literally on this, there's the road that goes up the hill, there is a sidewalk with, like, a fence on one side, and there's just a deer hanging out on the sidewalk. Just chilling.
Sick.
Just hanging out.
What's up? What's up?
Yeah.
You know what? I just want a battle of Canadian wildlife versus Australian wildlife. Let's get it going.
Canada Geese would win.
God.
Canada
Just
Geese
a big ass
will
moose
fuck
fighting
you
a
up.
kangaroo.
A moose
my
would
God.
stop a kangaroo, though. Like, for real.
A kangaroo riding a moose. That'd be the end of
It's
days.
all over for you, bitches.
Just a jacked ass kangaroo riding a
I'm
big
here
ass.
for it.
We've been doing this for.
I promise you, the next time I play a druid, this is going down.
Oh my god, it's so good.
Jamie,
It's so
I've
good.
seen deer on 17th Ave in Calgary. Yeah, I've seen deer everywhere in this city. Like, I'm in a pretty big city, and there are deer, there are coyotes, there are mountain lions that come in occasionally.
Mm-hmm.
We've got good
I'm
green
so
spaces, though.
I'm so sorry. We went from talking TTRPG and I full
Why
ass
not?
swerved us.
It's alright.
Full ass swerved
all good.
into moose geese. Moose goose.
Yeah,
yeah.
literally there is an area in town called Deer Run in Calgary.
Oh, jeez.
It is definitely a fitting name. Yeah, there are actually coyotes near my work, says Riss, who is in chat. Yeah, Riss and I used to work together, so they know what's up. We've been doing this for an hour. Do we want to take like a 10-minute break?
Sure, and like, where the fuck are all these extra ass people coming from? Like,
I asked the Canadian. I asked the.
people you work with just popping? What
Yeah.
the fuck?
Yeah, Riss shows up to the Critical Misses sessions when I do them in person. They're a good friend.
Shit.
Yeah.
I wish I had somebody that cared about me.
Stop. We
care
love
about you.
so much.
You know
Just
what?
whatever. I don't
You know what?
care. I'll go-
Everybody, give me love for Noir in chat while we're on break. We're gonna take 10 minutes. We're gonna stretch, bio, wash hands, get more coffee and water, and yeah. So yeah. Throw the love for Noir in the chat, and we will be back in 10
Oh, no,
minutes.
I feel bad. I love you, D. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Where are you?
I better not say anything stupid in case you're still.
Welcome back. How are we now? Okay, yeah, captions are working, and I've changed it so that they refresh. And now we don't have to worry about the last thing that Mar says before we go on camera.
Oh yeah, it's just me. Whatever.
I love it. I'm here for it.
I like it. I like this. I like this new look. I'm liking it. Something is different, just can't place it. What could it be?
Yeah. It's so good. It's so good.
The goodest edgelord.
In order to hunt that guy, I have to become
That guy.
guy.
Oh.
Why would you steal Ray's hair?
Yeah. So what had happened was I shaved it all off like in one go. So like it was like its own wig, and I just dyed it really quickly, cut it a little bit, and sent it over to Justin so that he could have my hair to wear as his wig. It's great.
Yes, it tracks.
Oh,
my
what
God.
the fuck even is this show?
This show is chaos incarnate.
It's everything.
This show is the best show. I think this is our flagship.
I love it.
And that is both hilarious and a little bit sad.
We need more content. Stat.
Working on it. We've
No,
got
it's
System
okay.
Shock on Fridays now. I'm slowly building a library of content that we can go to. It's hard when you work full time and you want to run a stream. But hey, if this goes off, and I actually wind up getting affiliate today, tomorrow we're gonna do a celebration stream. I don't know what we're gonna do.
Woot woot.
Yay!
This show be awesome. I need you to take my money away or like freeze my accounts. Oh no, AJ, what did you do? Husha Kid.
Yeah, what did you do?
Husha Kid, what did you buy
What just
now?
happened? What just
Oh,
happened?
I have a cool like little segue to get back into conversation.
Oh, that's
Um,
a Mission Park guest.
Other tabletop games that you have been playing lately. So I know that Noir, Justin said that they were getting used to the Urban Shadows setting because you have a story that you're telling. I recently just kind of got into a group that in August we're going to be playing a game called Morkborg,
Morkborg.
which is a I think it's Swedish. I will have to double check, but it's so I'm gonna pull up the website and read exactly what it says on the website about this game. This is the hook that it says on the front page. It says, "A doom metal album of a game, a spiked flail to the face, light on rules, heavy everything else." So it's basically a black metal, doom metal game where you play in the apocalypse and you have to survive the apocalypse. And it's like this world where the monsters are nuts, the people are crazy, the setting is insane. It's Swedish. Okay,
It is
cool.
Swedish.
And I'm so genuinely excited to play that game. And my roommate actually is buying, so he bought the book for him and he bought me a second copy. So I'm gonna be physically getting the book in. But I'm so excited because I'm a metalhead. I've been a metalhead my whole life. As you can see, I'm wearing a hardcore band t-shirt right now, but like I am so excited to play an entirely brand new game that I have no idea what to expect.
That reminds me, I could probably throw in something a little heavier if I have my Spotify open. I realize now that I know a lot of musicians, and my brother is in a two-piece hardcore band.
Yes.
And so I could actually probably throw that on and play that for like one of the games that we run, and probably not get DMCA'd because it's his record label.
So
I love it.
So funny story about that. One of the things that I'm currently working on with the Trouble in the Second City game is I know a ton of local Chicago musicians, so I'm trying to reach out to them and be like, "Hey, can I use your music during the game?"
Oh, I
So
love
bad.
that.
So I mean, I've already got 3 bands on board,
Nice.
and 2 rappers.
Yes.
One
Heck
rapper
yeah.
I had to do a favor for, but it's all good. I got their go ahead.
I love that. I think with this whole, like, really obviously transitioning really quickly, I think music is such a powerful thing to have in a game, especially for like just ambiance and to getting the characters into the setting. And it's really awesome now that with this whole like Twitch terms of service with music bullshit going on, that like people are banding together and bands are actually letting people use their music, and it's becoming a little bit more open, because I think copyright is like dumb. I think it's dumb. I think music is music. People should be able to listen and share and play music. I think like to me it's I don't understand it entirely. Like I get it maybe from a business perspective, but just as a people, it's just like whatever. But like, yeah, like reaching out to local musicians, reaching out to people to be like, hey, can I use your stuff on stream? Can I help support you? Can I do something for you so you can help me, set my setting and set this to what I want to be, because not always do you have royalty-free music that fits what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And especially like for your setting, Justin, like having Chicago musicians for a Chicago-based game, that is so raw.
Yeah.
That is so raw. And Dee said it first, but it's so true. Like, that is so sick. And it's awesome that you're going out of your way to do that.
This shit, like, I've been on the local music side of things. Like, I do music as a side project. It just, getting anybody to want to listen to your shit is hard enough.
Yeah.
So it's just like, it doesn't take much to go, hey, you know, here's a stream where at minimum we're gonna get 10 people a week watching. So, you know, do you want those ears?
Exactly.
The average band isn't gonna go, fuck no. We only take streams that do Critical Role numbers. Like, this is something that I feel like has not been fucked with that much.
Yeah.
Like, people, and so, like, you know, you want to make sure that everybody's credited, so that when they're listening to these songs, they know where to find them. And they're okay. So I suck at keeping secrets, so I'm just not gonna fucking bother.
Yes.
One or two of the bands might actually be in the story.
Oh.
I love this. I love this.
That just gives me like Peach Pit vibes, or like from or like the Bronze from Buffy, where like you occasionally have like a guest musician that would like be playing a song that's in the show.
Yeah.
Yes. So there is
Sweta. Welcome to the chat. Yes, they're apparently a new stream platform partner that with Spotify that would allow you to play copyrighted music. Yeah, right now I'm just using Pretzel. I've had mixed results with it. I'm having some issues with their API right now. It is great. It is royalty free, but I'm having some big difficulties with their subscription service. But yes.
So I was gonna say, along the lines of like bands and crediting and stuff like that. Along the same lines, but a little bit different. There was a heavy metal, or there's a hardcore heavy metal band called the Black Dahlia Murder. I think it's the Black Dahlia Murder, who released a tabletop adventure and a set of dice for one of their new albums. So they released an album, and then they released a D&D adventure that is based on the album, and it comes with like dice and like the adventure module, and it's this whole thing. And the Black Dahlia Murder, and it is so cool. I almost bought it. It was like $40 for the album, for the adventure, and for the dice. I almost bought it, and I totally want to see if it's still available, because a lot of people actually don't know this about me. Before I got into tabletop, I was heavily into music. Sweta actually knows, because Sweta's a friend from mine from Buffalo. I was heavy into the music scene, very, very heavily, and I lived with a couple of girls who we would house bands that traveled through the area. So we made a lot of friends in the music industry. And I have a couple of friends in some bands that have been interested in trying and wanting to try out D&D. So I've been interested in either getting this module or running a module that's based on like heavy metal, something almost kind of like Morkborg, where it's like they play in this intensely like doom metal universe, and they get to just be like these awesome adventures instead of just playing some high fantasy game, like actually bringing them into a fantasy setting that's more set and geared towards things that they are interested in. And that's something that I still really, really want to do. Mm-hmm. But it's so interesting now, because like you said, like reaching out to musicians and like doing stuff, we're seeing a lot of like cross-platforming for video games, for music, for just like entertainment as a whole. And I see a lot of like cross-platforming between like obviously like musicians and tabletop artists or tabletop players, and it's just refreshing to see that, because a lot of people I don't know, for a while I didn't see people kind of going outside of the TTRPG realm for anything. It was just like, oh, do you make music and play games? Oh, well then let me work with you. And instead people are kind of going more outside of the TTRPG space to include other people from other hobbies. And that's really refreshing to see. It's awesome, because now one time didn't feel comfortable saying, oh, I like music and I like reading and I like writing and stuff too, that's not related to tabletop, because a lot of the time people in tabletop are so obsessed with tabletop that it's difficult to kind of bridge any other interest or hobby. And it's nice seeing that kind of come together and cross, and people are more, engaging in those sorts of like other hobbies and stuff now. It's really cool.
Seeing people experiment a lot more with music in their games, like either how they implement music in their games. I was running a service for a little bit where I would commission like character themes or quests, and I wrote out a few, either bardly, like your traditional "and the pictures went off," or like I would write some raps for like, a ghost, where you stumble on a ghost and he would rap your quest for you, and people were utilizing that. And very recently on TPK Roleplay's channel, Sarah Franco in here, I will actually put her Twitter in the channel, give her a follow, because she brilliantly wrote up an entire one shot based on Phil Collins' catalog.
I love
and
it.
the thing is, it wasn't obvious. It really wasn't. And so like the treat at the end of the session was like putting it all together. Like it was like little hints, like there was a gang in the world called Genesis, and there was a magic item whose command word was Susio. It was just like little stuff like that, and then like once it all started to come together, I'm like, wait a second, this whole thing is about Phil Collins. And it's just music is it really is a very important part of my life, and I feel like it's an important part of most people's lives. And I think the TTRPG community is becoming more and more experimental and open about shit, and bringing in music into the world, and reaching out to people, and custom making shit for the worlds that they're building. And it's just exciting to see.
I know that I'm definitely one of those people where music means a lot to me, and like sharing music is very important. It's kind of why I did the other day on Twitter. I had a give me a song that you think matches my vibe, and I'll give you one back. So that way it's like it's sharing music and it's collaborating, and it's like, hey, it's something that is fun. And give me a song that you think encapsulates me, and I will give you a song that encapsulates. I got the Cupcake Cake song from Bright Dystopia.
Oh, those songs were so, I went through and like, it's so funny because now that you say that, I totally forgot that I had Anita, I want you to know that I searched for so long to find the specific song for you that I knew. I was like, I know the tone, I know the tune. I can't remember the song, and I was like searching for it, and I finally found it. I will post it on it today in a little bit. But yeah,
I already have one for you.
I have such a like music. So my father was a DJ, a roller rink DJ, and that's how he met my mom. So when I grew up on a lot of like funk and hip hop and pop music, and then my mom liked, like Melissa Etheridge and light classic rock and like, 80s hair metal. So like I grew up on a lot of different music. So I love curating playlists. And what I've been doing is curating playlists when I do my homebrew stuff.
Nice.
So like I have homebrew playlists, and then I just have personal playlists, and every once in a while I'll post one when I'm like super interested and like invested and just listening to it and kind of adding to it. I'll post it. And I like doing that sort of stuff because everybody responds to music differently, and music hits people differently. Mm-hmm. And it's really awesome when people like, I feel like it's a vulnerable part of you to be like, hey, I made this and all this music means something. Now here you are, enjoy it,
Yes,
like
that's exactly
a curated playlist is just, it's just such a vulnerable thing for some people. And to be able to put that out and have people receive that and just like totally be on par with you is such a great feeling. It's almost like when, like in tabletop, when you tell a story and everyone's so receptive and just supportive of it, it's like that same integral feeling.
Yeah.
So it's really awesome when you can do both of those things at the same time and have that music fit your story.
So for that Twitter
All right, so
thread,
here's my question.
So for that Twitter thread,
sorry,
most
go
of the
ahead.
songs that most of the songs that
You're good.
I did came from my liked songs on Spotify. I very rarely went out of that because this is music that hits me, and it reminds me of you. So here you go.
Aww. So here's my question. What is your We're Friends Now band? And what I mean by that is a band that you're pretty sure only you fuck with, but if somebody else, without you mentioning it, goes, oh yeah, I love them, it's just like, oh, we're friends now.
Oh, wow.
I've got 3 I can think of off the top.
Okay, yeah, you go first then.
Before that, I'm just going to do a quick read through on chat.
Yes.
Oh, go ahead, yeah.
Talking about music because we miss playing in the store because the owner would put on some epic fantasy like Lord of the Rings.
Ludo! Yes!
Yes.
Yeah! Oh, okay.
So yeah,
Sorry.
that was fun. Good music and getting to know people in one go. Husha is musically uncultured. No musicals and other songs you just kind of know. You know what? That's okay. That's okay to know what you know. And then Dee says, I do that with characters. Like when I was writing out Cassandra, I used Tyler the Creator's Igor as the backdrop for her, theme-wise.
Oh, nice. Nice.
And then Jamie likes listening to other people's playlists. It lets you know something personal about them for sure.
Yes.
And
yeah.
Riss did a Hamilton reference. Happens. Yeah, Ludo. It's like today is also free RPG day.
Where?
Oh yes.
I don't know what that means.
So is it, if I'm not mistaken, free RPG day is where a lot of people release like
their work for free, or or like if you go to a game store, there's a lot of good play sessions that happen in person, but obviously with COVID that can't happen.
Yeah.
freerpgday.com. It is a whole thing.
It is a whole thing.
But to get back to it, the band where it's like, okay, we're friends now. It's like a band that you like that you don't think anybody else likes.
Yes. I've got 3 off the top.
Okay.
Actually, I got 4.
Okay.
Do it.
The Delgados. They're a UK band that broke up like in the early 2000s, but they had 2 of my fucking favorite albums ever. There's a song called All You Need Is Hate that just hits me where I live. Then there's Elbow, which they were popular for a little bit because of I think it was Borderlands soundtrack, about Borderlands commercial that had grounds for divorce. But like that's how I found them, and I fell in love with them ever since. Then there is Uncle.
Oh, I love Uncle. I love Uncle so much.
I love that. The joy.
Well, we were friends before, but now we're more friends.
Oh my nose, Uncle is so fucking relaxing.
Uncle's so good, so fucking good.
And then the last one is the Deer Hunters.
Yes.
Deer Hunter.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
I love y'all. And then the honorable mention is the Main Squeeze.
I don't think it's the Main Squeeze. From chat, Alien says Glory Hammer, absolutely, and Murder by Death.
Ooh, okay. These are all new churches. I know churches.
Jamie is Churches, Future Islands, and Dear Roost. Future Islands, the lead singer, Samuel Herring, does a lot of songs about his struggles with depression. And, like, a lot of them, like, the song Lighthouse is, like, a really important song to both me and Jamie, because it hits you, like, and it's, like, it's about being broken but still giving yourself to a person and showing them that part of you and then them accepting you. And it just, like, just such a good song. Such a good song. I had a clip there from
Oh, good.
from the uncle, or the expressions.
I love
Ninja Sex
that.
Party, Roysta 59, Queen Herbie, honorable mention, Lupa Fiasco from D, Lmax D20, Aesthetic X, Ludo, and Flaw. So yeah, Future Islands is one of those ones that's important to me. I do love Uncle so hard. Portishead. Portishead is real good. There's a lot of bands that I used to listen to, like, way back. Tribe Called Quest, Rush, yes.
Damn, okay, y'all got taste.
Tongue.
I knew that I liked this
Taste
chat.
like this.
I knew I liked this chat. And now I like them even more.
Static X, yes.
Yeah, so I mean,
Rest
just to
in
name
peace,
a couple
Static.
of mine, Pinback. Pinback is definitely one of those bands. Paramore, just because they are my all-time favorite band. So like
I will fuck
that's
up
a mainstream
karaoke
band, but
it's a Paramore.
man, I mean, there's a band from Buffalo called Penimento. I know these are all P named bands, which is weird, but that's another band that, like, if you know of them, if you know their songs, they always hit me really hard when I was younger. But another band is The American Scene. I don't know why, but I love that band so very much. They're just like super great. And another kind of more so well-known band is Dashboard Confessional. Because,
yes! Hit me up with that Dashboard.
I'm a sad girl at heart. Yeah.
You
Alexis
and me.
on Fire, it hits me always.
Yep.
Yeah.
Every goddamn time.
We're just going into scene kid music.
Songs, sit along, you wonder. Sorry.
Oh, it's so bad. It's so good, but it's so bad. But yeah, those are like, there's a lot of bands that I used to listen to, like, in my adolescence, like a lot of pop punk and alternative style bands that they were huge. They were huge in my transitional part of my life, but yeah.
I'm a sad girl at heart, right, with the quote of the year. So if we're going into scene kid music, I used to listen to a lot of Thrice.
Yeah.
I was.
I love that.
Like AFI. That was like peaks. AFI was in my top ones. Like AFI, Thrice. Yeah, I listened.
How come I Trio Chicago represent?
I love
Fall Out Boy, Chicago represent again. Y'all.
No, Fall Out Boy, Panic at the Disco. A Day to Remember. If anybody remembers A Day to Remember, those were like more of my like middle school into high school transitions. Where like when I first started listening to music, I actually like. Okay, so like Avenged Sevenfold, Disturbed,
yes!
Breaking Benjamin, like. That's where I started with kind of music, like heavier music than just like what was on the radio. So I started like in this like weird kind of like dad metal transition, and then kind of found things from there. But I listened to like a lot of folk music too, like Iron and Wine was a huge influence. Like Iron and Wine was great. Band of Horses.
I love Band of Horses.
Yeah, like those bands were like, I listened to like weird dad metal, and then I listened to like alternative folk music.
Yes.
Like those were like the two spectrums that I really fucked with for a long time. And then I obviously started branching off from there and found like pop punk music and punk rock and like.
I listened to a lot of indie pop or like indie folk or like that sort of thing. So I used to listen to a lot of. I still listen to Broken Bells.
Yes.
Broken Bells is really good. Postal Service.
Yes. Oh my god.
Postal Service is so good. Even though it's just being a fuck.
Oh god damn. Like, so really quickly, I developed a complex with some of the music that I loved, in the sense that I felt like every time I fell in love with the band, they broke up. Like when I found Delgados, they truly were like just everything to me, and then they broke up. And then I started to fall in love with Korn, and then they broke up. And then I fell in love with System of a Down, and then they broke up. And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna leave the fucking heavier shit alone. And then I fell in love with the Civil Wars, and then they broke up. It's just like
every band I like dies.
So there's a band called Tommy Boys. They made only one album. But if you like melodic, like rock, melodic, sort of just like I call it like melodic jam. It's just like I'm trying to find a band that people can relate it to. It's difficult. It's difficult, but listen to them. They're called Tommy Boys. They only made one album, but that was the same. I had the same reaction. I found them, and then I realized that they only made one album, and then they broke up, and I was like, this is a travesty. There's only like 12 songs of this band. I don't have anything else to go off of. This is insane. I too have felt the pain of no more music from a band that deserves to make more music, and there's nothing more frustrating than that.
You're the music version of the trope you don't like in backgrounds.
Why you think I got the emo here? Because my life is awful. I still remember one of the last things my ex told me before she went on to then, dump me, which was just like she had this look in her face of like just sadness, and I'm like, oh no, what happened? She was like, I don't want to tell you. I was like, please, let's just get it over with. What is it? She was like, Motion City Soundtrack broke up, and I was like, no, not again. I broke down and cried. I love Motion City Soundtrack so much.
Oh, they're so good.
Yeah,
they're so good.
So high school bands for Jamie were Tool, Primacy, Offspring. Yes.
Okay.
Iron and Wine.
No, I
hell
fuck with Tool.
And Death from Above 1979. Fuck, I love them. I love them so much. Another really good hard two-piece band.
So good.
Aesop Rock.
Make Me Sad, Overly Theatric Kids. Yeah. I do like Aesop Rock. And like, I'm not very, okay, so my partner, his name is Bobby. If you don't know who he is, he's Bobby from Wormwood. But Bobby listens to so much hip hop and rap. So much. That's predominantly what he listens to. So like, I am very ignorant to hip hop and rap. I used to dance. So like, I was a street style dancer for a while. And I still dance, but like, I have been so out of the loop with like hip hop, pop, rap music. So it's finally nice to be coming back into that. And he's a DJ, or what he was a DJ for like 10, 11 years of his life or something crazy like that. So it's so awesome to like get perspective of these different genres from people. Cause like we can sit here and we can talk about like bands like Death Cab and, Korn and Primus and all these crazy bands, and each of us have their own different perspective of how they influence us. And it's so great because like, yes, this is like a talk show about like tabletop games, but like I like how we all have so much similarity, but it varies.
Oh yeah.
And especially with music, because music is so subjective of how it makes people feel. But it's so awesome to sit and like look at all these bands that, one, I haven't listened to in forever, two, that I didn't know other people even knew about.
Yeah.
And it's super awesome to kind of like have these bouts of, oh my gosh, I haven't listened to that, let me go listen to that. And it's like learning and prospering from that this little conversation is just so awesome, because now I'm like, I'm going to go listen to all these bands for the rest of the day and have a great freaking day because I forgot that they all existed. It's good. It's so good. It's so pure. And I love you all. Oh my goodness.
What have you been vibing with recently for music?
Okay.
Go for it.
No, I was going to say if you...
I'll jump in.
I've been going to Azalea Banks.
Ooh.
I've been fucking with that. It's good shit. I have been really vibing with it.
I have been... Oh, go ahead, sorry.
Who should get said to everything Hamilton. Just obsessive.
Fuck, you took my answer, you goddamn son of a bitch. I love you.
Yeah, I've been listening to a lot of like, honestly, that royalty-free playlist that I play on my stream most times than not, I've been just bopping to it.
Yeah.
It's so vibey. It's so good. I've been listening to a lot more like vibe, and I hate saying vibe music, but it's just like good energy. It's not like pop, it's not EDM, it's just like this lo-fi mix. I've also been listening to a lot of like hip hop and rap just because I've been finding more things that I'm enjoying. Well, actually, I don't want to say hip hop and rap, it's more R&B. I've been really enjoying R&B music lately, and what I end up doing on Spotify is just like finding a song I like and then creating a playlist based off of it, and then finding new artists through that.
Yeah.
So it's more like I've been stuck in a genre lately, not necessarily like artists, but I've just been stuck in this like good vibe, good energy, soft genre of music that I'm feeling it right now. I'm super feeling it.
I've been listening to obviously a lot of Hamilton. But I was on a real strong Radiohead kick last night. I think I think I listened to Daydreaming like 3 or 4 times. It was helping me write a part of my setting that it just fits. Like Radiohead to me is what the Feywild sounds like. Like it's so magical, especially Daydreaming.
Yes.
It's just I can't recommend that song enough. I've been listening to a lot of hip hop beats. I've been getting back into just practicing writing raps, practicing.
That was another thing you did the other day. Is you were doing your backstory, freestyling your backstory, and I was here for it.
How was I not there for that? How was I not there for that?
It was on Twitter. You posted it.
It was alright. And then I've been listening to a lot of. God, I always fuck up her name. I'm just gonna write it out in chat. But if you have a second, I would highly recommend you listen to her.
Except Eliza?
Yes.
I don't know if that's how you pronounce it.
Okay.
That's just how we're gonna go with it. And the last thing I've been on a kick with, and also because he feels like Faye to me, is Moses Sumney. So Radiohead, Moses Sumney, says Eliza, and then just random hip hop beats.
I love it.
David Diggs band Clipping. There's an album from 2009. Been listening to that. It's called There Existed, an Addiction to Blood. Interesting.
I don't know if I just started listening to his stuff. Like I've been addicted to Small Things to a Giant. That shit bops. Like David goes the fuck off. I'm like, okay, Thomas Jefferson, I see you.
Yeah.
Like I just like how much like music means a lot to me, and like as a person. So if I share a song with you, it's like giving you a piece of myself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, 1000%. When I'm like, hey, this song made me think of you. That's like a super vulnerable moment. I'm saying like, hey, this resonated with me so much that I could not help but think about you. Like stuff like that really gets me. And also just like, hey, I like this song and I wanted to share it with you.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, oh my God, thank you. Like, it's literally like saying like, here's a piece of my soul. Here's a piece of me as a person. And I'd like to share this small intimate moment with you.
Yes.
And it's so rewarding when people do that. So if you've ever been self-conscious about doing that with your friends or for whatever reason, just freaking do it. Like building playlists for people and sharing music with people is so beautiful. Just do it. Just do it. I guarantee.
I feel like we don't do that enough anymore these days. Like in high school, I would burn CDs for people all the time, and like I've caught myself, you know, with some of the people that I've met in the TTRPG community, where I'm just like, I don't talk to you that much. I don't know you very well, but every time you pop up, this is the song I hear. Or with some people that I talk to all the time, like, yo, this is in my head. This is your theme song. Like, and it's just like you keep those thoughts to your head, to yourself, and it's like maybe
it's time we start doing that. Maybe it's time we start sharing it.
Yeah.
Maybe we need, again, we're going back to our be vulnerable and fuck off.
Exactly.
Vulnerability.
Those are the rules.
Fuck off. Those are the rules.
Empathy, be vulnerable,
and fuck off. And mean mug dicks for justice.
Yeah. I love it.
If you're not willing to do that, you can't jump in my DMs. That's the rules.
That came up last night when, like, I think it was in between the break. AJ was, Hushikid was saying, I'm still waiting on a mug. It says, if you're not willing to mean mug a cock for justice. And Alicia, who was in there, was like, you know what? I don't even need context.
Yeah.
I'm okay with this.
Don't forget we're sponsored. Feel free to use the link to get.
Yes! We are sponsored by Found Familiar.
Yeah, I hate that. Bah.
Hey.
That's a whole thing. Mean mug cocks for justice in the drink Found Familiar.
Oh, I love it.
I think we're pretty close to the end. Hey?
Holy shit, really?
It's like almost 11.
Yeah.
It is almost 11. We've been at this for 2 hours now, but I mean, we can go a little longer, but it's Ray's gotta probably pop off fairly soon, at least to get ready for...
I was gonna say, no, I mean, I don't go to work for another hour in some change, so I mean, I'm in no entire rush. Whatever works for you all. I'm cool, I'm just hanging. The best thing about having a shaved head is that it takes me no time to get ready.
No, it doesn't.
So I'm already ready for the day. I just literally need to change and leave. So that's like nothing. So don't worry about me. I'm totally good. But
Awesome.
Thank you so much for being so considerate.
You know, I worry. I'm like the channel mom at heart.
It's good. No, that's a good thing.
Can I tell you something that occurred to me more recently than I want to admit?
What is it?
About this channel.
What is it?
I always realized like critical misses. It's just like, it's a femme-focused channel and, the critical, okay, haha. And then I was like, wait a second. When you roll a 1, that's a critical miss. It
just get the pun?
Yes,
just get the pun.
I just got the pun.
I love you, Justin. Please don't ever change.
I love you so much.
I'm not gonna lie, that happened last week. I've been on this channel for like at least
for
3 weeks.
A month. It's been
For
actually
a
30
month.
days since our first episode of Morning Ritual.
Yeah, and that just occurred to me. I was like, wow, I'm a Dumas.
It happens.
A Lord
Trust me, it happens.
It does happen. I also am very subtle with my puns. Some might say
I love it. No, it's good.
Undercover.
Trust me, I had a whole 16 weeks of all of you and your puns, and they're good. They are golden. You all get me every GD time because I'm. That's the one thing. Like, I love bad jokes. I love dad jokes, and I like puns.
Oh, Finny was
I just
the
think
master
it's
of the dad joke. Finny was never a father, but he was ready. And I think it killed D a little bit inside. Every single time we would just go on like a pun rampage.
And I let you. I was like, you know what? Let's see how long you can go. I'm gonna sit back and just let you all
and just see how many we can get out in one go. And poor D would just die inside every single one we came up with.
So good.
During the beverage saga, as I like to call it.
Oh, yeah. Cassandra is D. Cassandra is D.
Yeah, oh my gosh. You are the Jim who looks off into the camera. Like that was Cassandra. The whole campaign was just, she was Jim who looked off into the camera when the rest of them were just doing their crazy antics. And it was my favorite thing. It was just so good. It was so pure.
Have you listened to Dungeons and Daddies? They do dad jokes on there.
Oh, God.
No, I have not, but now I need to.
No, I really need to. Lucia goes to have breakfast and comes back to emo noir. No,
She wouldn't understand.
This is the darkest noir. The truest.
Yeah, it's been good. It's been so good. It's been great.
Pete Wentz looking motherfucker.
Wait, what? Did the chat say that, or was that you?
No,
Somebody's
that was me.
your hands.
That was me. I will catch those hands.
Hands with my hands, yeah.
I just got the gun. Yes! Yes,
No.
it got clipped. Thank you.
Oh, it's so good. Thank you, Floppy, for that gem.
Floppy, the betrayal. It
The
makes my
betrayal
emo
is
bangs
real.
thicker.
It makes my emo bangs thicker.
Yeah. I love all of this.
Goddamn.
I keep brushing against my microphone because it's right here now. Apologies.
I know
There-
mine's right here, and I have to make sure that like I don't like
to,
hit it or knock it
I
over.
have to reach over here to get my coffee too, and it's a problem.
So I mean, like, just so we're all aware, there is a reason for this. I have to film something immediately after this episode, where
we
this
just-
is involved.
Just saving time. It's a cost saving
Yeah,
measure.
I was just like, you know what, fuck it. I'm just gonna rock this. for
Just
the
yeah,
moment.
friggin' yes, do it.
I'm here for it.
I just gotta put on some
Live
lipstick,
that
some
good emo wig
eyeliner
life.
afterwards, and then we're good.
I liked emo music when I was younger, like when I was like teen going into like 20s. I used to like
Mhm.
love the music, but I was never like the scene kid that dressed the part.
Oh, I was not seen. I was straight goth. Like
Yeah,
I had the whole like
I wanted to have a
black
goth
attire.
phase. I feel like I missed
Yeah.
out on a goth phase. I really feel like I did. But I was also one of those people in like a hyper conservative small town family. So like it would not have gone over well. Like my
yeah,
parents would
I
have
wasn't
been
to the
like-
extent that some kids are because I also had the same thing. Like my mom wasn't really conservative in terms of like how like policing how I dressed because I always just dressed pretty appropriately. But like it was more so of like when I could get away with pulling off the style I would. So I'd buy like more black jeans, more black shirts. Like I had a lot of band tees, like, and then I started wearing Vans,
Yeah.
and then like, you know, I started like getting like, I would get like black, like little black shoes and flats and stuff and wear like black tights and dresses to school. Like, and then like, once I started doing my makeup, oh my God, like I didn't start wearing makeup until like 8th grade, straight up. Because I just didn't understand it. And then because I was in musical theater, I had to put on makeup or get my makeup done for the show. Like people, like I had theater makeup and stuff.
Yeah.
So then afterwards, obviously when you're in middle school and you're wearing makeup and you've never worn makeup, everyone's like, oh my God, so pretty and so different.
But it's like
then that kind
you've
of,
got
like-
the makeup all smeared on wrong. You can see like the line on your face from
Yeah,
where it-
oh my
like,
God, that
the
didn't even come to, like,
blending.
Yeah, that didn't come to, so when I first started doing my makeup, it was only eyeliner. Did not do my eyebrows, didn't even put mascara on, I just put eyeliner
I
on.
still don't wear
And
makeup.
it was painful.
Like,
But
I
I've been
rarely-
doing, so I was gonna say, I do my wings the same way I've done my wings since I first started doing them, like 8th, 9th grade. And they've just been, it's been a variation of the same thing ever since. It's just it's a base thing that I learned how to do and I've just been doing it. But everything else came so much later. Like the first couple times I started doing my eyebrows, like I thought I looked like a man. I was like, they're bushy, they're bad, this is ugly, this is gross. And
Yeah.
so like, it's like a process when you first start learning and playing around with stuff like that. And like, it was crazy, especially because it stemmed from being in musical theater and just
Yeah.
like
and actually
wanting
having
to
to do the
do
stage
theater.
makeup.
Yeah.
See you later, Alien. Have a great day. I hope your streams go lovely. I'm glad that this helped you get into a better place today. Have a really good day. Have a really, really good day. Thank you so much.
That's all we can do.
That's all we can
Like,
do.
you know, just on the top, I never understood the concern with eyebrows. Like, I've seen people get their shit threaded, and I hear that hurts like a motherfucker. Like, I've never, I mean, I don't know. It's weird. It's just, I've never looked at somebody else just like, damn,
Them eyebrows.
they hot, but them eyebrows really
That's
not-
me.
not
I'm
doing
that
it.
person. I look at eyebrows. I'm
like,
obsessed with eyebrows. So another weird thing people don't really know about me is once things kind of settle down, if they ever settle down, I would like to go back to school to become an esthetician because I actually want to get into permanent makeup tattooing
Ooh.
and doing stuff like that. And one of the things I want to do is microblading eyebrows because I love eyebrows. But that's like that's one of the first things I think I look at is like the goggle region of somebody's face. I look at their eyes and I look at their
Ray,
eyebrows.
every time I talk to you now, I'm gonna do this.
No, it's nothing like that. It's more so the fact of like, it's more so just curiosity. It's like, oh, can I tell if they take care of them or do they naturally come in like that?
Oh, this is just how mine
Are
are.
they filled in? Yeah, like, and that's the thing is like, that's like, I don't judge people. It's more so I'm just interested in how they take care of the different space on their body because like a lot of people get piercings, a lot of people get tattoos, a lot of people get haircuts, but some people really just express themselves through makeup.
Yeah,
and
exactly. It's just another form of expression for sure.
Yeah, and that's like kind of
that's
I think that's why I look at the goggle region first to see if like, oh, are you wearing makeup? How are you expressing yourself? How do you do your makeup versus how do I do mine? Like, it's just something that I think that I pick up faster because it's something that I really appreciate about myself. And I like finding similarities in other people, which is interesting to kind of break down and think about. But yeah, I think like this region of the face is like what I look at most when I meet somebody.
D.
I look it.
D. Come on. No, D.
You are though.
You.
Like we're all flawless.
No, you.
We are all beautiful
flawless
celestial beings just existing in the mortal realm.
I look at butts.
So you look at butts. I mean, I saw a meme last night. It was way too late for me to retweet it or post it into my feed, but it was like, what kind of butt do you have? And I was like, I've got hourglass donk. That's it.
Hourglass donk?
So you've got the hourglass where it's just like tiny little hips, itty bitty waist and
hold on,
thing in your face.
Are we
in the portion of the show where we talk about butts? Because I'm very excited for this portion of the show.
We can talk about butts. Let's see what else we got on there. Swear if you come onto my channel, I'm gonna wiggle my eyebrows at you now with a brick.
Please, yes, I'm here for this. I'm here for it.
Yeah, Jamie's brother does threads his eyebrows because he's got a unibrow.
Love it.
And he just when he goes and gets his haircut, the place that he does, they'll actually thread his brows at the same time. Effortlessly flawless. No D. No you.
Yes. Yeah, you.
No, you.
It sounds like everybody is excited about the butt portion of the show.
Butt portion of the show. I will jump on this call. We made it to the butt portion of Noira's Dr. TTRPG. Can I be Dr. Booty?
Dr. Booty.
No me.
No me.
No,
all right, now we get to the question at hand. Which mythical creature has the nicest donk? You know what? Call me a weirdo. I'm going Minotaur.
No, I was gonna say I'd probably pick like a greater demon, like a Baylor or some,
Baylor's definitely got a good. Probably has a good.
They got a donk.
Yeah.
Mothman's got a donk.
Mothman has a donk. Wasn't that your nickname in high school, Dr. Booty? Wasn't that your nickname in high school, D?
Wait a minute. Doesn't Sasquatch...
Mermaids have the best butts because it's...
Well, there is an ass in
Sasquatch.
Sasquatch.
Have the nicest butt?
You see the way they walk. They are carrying that dog.
Yeah, like he's constantly walking up and down mountains, carrying heavy shit.
They dragging that wagon, boy.
Dragging that wagon.
They're all beautiful people. Please never change. Oh, I love you so much.
Okay, so my vote for best donk. We're just wild in chat today. Best donk.
Man's got a little bit.
Man's got a wheel.
Oh my god! Double cheek up hella ass. Still out like wow.
Double cheek up hella ass. That sun's still out like wow.
My favorite thing is when someone sees like sad, like what are you doing? What are you doing today? What are your plans for today? Oh, just double cheeked up on a Saturday morning, chilling with my friends. Like that's like I love that. I love that so much.
I'm gonna go Satyr. Satyr probably has a pretty good ass.
Ooh,
good.
That's a good
one.
Satyr's got a good donk, I think.
I love it.
Satyrs have a good donk.
Man.
Yeah.
You know, I'm
Sure, he has the best butt and an eyeball coming out of it, so you don't stare at the donk, it stares back.
That would be terrifying. but
Sometimes
I'm
you
here
stare
for
into
it.
the donk, and sometimes the donk stares back at you.
Yeah, exactly.
Satyrs have
You stare deep into the
technically
dog.
speaking,
goat's ass.
I'm actually D. It's a goat's ass.
Get that guy out of
actually,
here.
You're talking about centaur.
You're thinking of centaur.
Yeah, centaurs have horse butts.
Centaurs have horse butts.
You know what? I'm going with the deadliest cheeks as the best cheeks. I'm gonna say that Tiamat has hella cake.
She probably does.
She probably.
Why
does.
else would she have 5 heads protecting it?
Yeah.
What's back
That's
there?
true.
Has anybody seen Tiamat's cakes? I haven't, and I would like to. I will now draw up a character whose entire motivation is to give Tiamat a double hand clap.
You know what would be really, what just
deadliest
strikes me
cheeks.
as a really funny visual is Strahd having a nice butt. Just like a real good butt on Strahd.
It's kind of like you've been going like what was it? There's the statue of is it David? It's the statue of David that's going around where it's like
Yes.
just taken from the back and like
He's
Like,
got a dog.
he's got the biggest like
Straight up juicy butt.
big fat juicy butt. Like yeah. Strahd has a total dog.
God,
Strahd has a total
dog.
dog.
Thank you,
Or
Latia.
Merfolk.
Thank you.
All that swimming. All that swimming's gotta be
Yeah,
good for your dog.
Merfolk.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
Strahd has
You
thick
know what? I
twink
think
energy.
dwarves got thick cheeks as well. It's just
Oh, of course.
you know yeah.
Today's
Yeah.
topics: character creation, alternatives to D&D, music, and booty.
And booty.
Strahd has thick twink energy.
Yeah. Yes, I am donk-splaining to you, D. Because you're wrong.
Don't get dogs playing.
New adventuring group, Ass Hunters. Everyone needs to have high perception, insight, and charisma. And you'll just go searching for the nicest butts in all the realm.
Yeah.
I love the fact that there's insight included. Like, nah, don't be fooled. Those are just baggy pants. There's cheek there.
Oh my god, I love it so much.
Can we describe the traditional RPG stats using asses? That's the strength is how hard you can clap that ass.
Ass.
Dex is how well you can shake that ass.
Ass. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
God is how much of a beating those cheeks can take. Wisdom.
Furbolgs, though. For real. For real. Furbolgs.
Wisdom is the ability to discern a good booty.
Yes.
Intelligence is knowing when and when not to try and make a move on cheeks.
Very true.
And
Justin.
charisma is just cheeks.
Yeah. It's
Christmas
just
is your cheek stat.
power.
Cheeks themselves.
Cheek
Hey, we
charisma.
Cheek stat.
We getting that tomato description that everybody uses. The fuck up out of here. We now using cheeks.
Like,
Yep.
CHA? No, it's CHE for cheeks.
Yeah.
Worst mythical ass, Medusa. If you're staring at the dog, she can't turn you in the stone. She has to
This is
skip
gonna-
cheek.
Welcome to Cheek Chat.
Oh my god, we need a new Medusa.
That's so funny.
Where if you stare at the ass, you get turned into. Bro, that's so fucking terrible. I'm opted out.
Imagine, oh my god. I love it. Oh, that's so funny though. I was just saying last night how I want to play, obviously in an off-stream game because it could get very out of
Medusa.
hand very quickly. But I
God
want
damn
to
it,
play in a game where like no bars held, like everything is good to go, like people play sexually suggestive characters, like I play a barbarian whose name is like Big Donk Adams or something stupid like that. Like I think something like that would be so fun just to kind of like I don't know. I've never played in like I don't want to say raunchy, but in like a slightly suggestive D&D game because everything is obviously for stream. It has to be, you know, appropriate and inclusive and respectful. But like, I feel like if you get a solid group of people around to play like ass hunters, where you're all just fucking going around the realm trying to find the nicest dong, like something dumb like that. Like that just makes me laugh. You know what I mean? Like that just genuinely makes me laugh because
that was actually yeah.
Yeah, like
Floppy says, let's face it,
3 different characters who are sex workers. Yeah, like having that more accepted in games because like I don't know, it's just like it's just a divide of just like that sort of sense of humor and just brevity that you can bring to that sort of character and that sort of like environment.
Yeah.
I think shit like that when you're able to do it with a really good group is like really, really funny when you all can just like kind of poke fun and just like make these dumbass jokes with one another and they're part of the game. Like I think shit like that's so funny.
That was kind of the
I think
game
a lot
that
of people
you
are
missed, Ray. The game that that was kind of the game when we had to run a random one shot during the Rotting Shadows
when you
run.
were gone.
Yeah.
When we were sexy space dinosaurs.
I remember that. I tuned in for a little while and I was like, this got really ahead really quickly.
It really
and I
did.
like it.
It really did. It started off with me making a joke about being a Switch, and then just Scrat going, well,
when you
I
play
need
with
to
Kent Weaves.
yeah, Weebs just goes off the rails.
I played one, I played in a mech one shot.
When I asked
running
his character to mount me.
Yes! And it was just like an anime weeb, like extravaganza. It was so crazy that man goes from 0 to 100 so quickly, and I love it so much. They are just
so
a huge, wonderful human being for chaos, and it's so fun because
when your character creation prompts is make a safe word.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
See, I think those games can be a lot of fun. I think the reason a lot of people are scared of them is because they don't want to have the uncomfortable discussions that have to happen before you can safely run something like that.
Yeah.
They're just like, yo, we are going to get wild and goofy and crazy, but here's the limits, you know.
Exactly.
Here's how you opt out, and you know, let's, you know, if you need breaks and all that good shit. Like, a lot of people, I don't want to say a lot of people because that makes me sound like the president. A lot of people are saying no, but I think that people see, you know, things like the Adam Coble situation. They're just like, well, you can't have sexual anything in games anymore, or else that's going to be the end of you.
No, that's not it at all.
That's not what the fuck is going on here. It's just that, you know, if you do decide to do that, you can't. No one person can decide to take a game that way. It has to be a decision by the entire party. It has to be something that the audience has time to be aware of and have time to opt the fuck out for. That's it. That's all it is.
It's all it is safety tools and consent.
Yeah.
These things are vital for games.
And that's so important because, like, I know a lot, like you were saying, like, I know a lot of people are kind of against having that stuff in their games because of the difficult conversations or just approaching that topic in a lighter way than some people would, and trying to include it. Because what I really appreciate about games a lot of the time is if the DM takes time to implement difficult situations for the characters that are personal to the characters. Mm-hmm. So like including things that are difficult to talk about just in any sense. Whether it's like alcoholism or drug use and abuse, like stuff like that. Like if that's in your character's story and that's part of who they are, like breaching that conversation and having that conversation with your group about including that type of content in your game is really important. One, because it opens the topic of conversation for everybody to feel at least somewhat comfortable voicing an opinion. And two, it lets you work out those tropes, work out those issues, work out those mental blockages that you might have. Somebody may be going through that and you don't know, and they don't want to tell you they're going through that, but they want their character to go through that process to help them go through that process personally. Mm-hmm. And that's why, like, I think things like that should be allowed in games, absolutely, as you said, with the right safety conditions, the right awareness, the right control,
And not just a warning for
it.
the other players, but a warning for the audience.
Yes, absolutely.
Because if it's triggering for the audience, then like you need to make sure that they know what they're getting into before they even watch this. Right.
And that was the thing about just, I mean, when I ran Rotting Shadows, like I put things in our content warning that I didn't even think we needed to, but they're still there just in case anybody was to come in and find anything offensive. Mm-hmm. And as long as you put those parameters in place, like it's one, setting a standard for the community that's watching you. And two, it sets a standard for the group in maintaining an understanding and a clarity of communication with those issues and with those subjects.
Yes.
And if anybody's ever uncomfortable, it allows them to kind of be able to talk about it a little bit more freer with the group, obviously off the stream if something happens. But like, it just breaches a more comfortable place for people to discuss difficult conversation topics or difficult situations that characters or people can go through. Because sometimes people do like to put controversial things in their character story because, like I said, they might be going through something personally that they don't want to put out in public, but they need a way to work that out, and doing that through RPG games or RPGs.
I didn't even realize really what I needed with Vinny.
It's a safe place to do that, and I think it's really important.
Yeah, because I know, when I was playing Finny, I didn't even realize that I needed it at the time, but I was dealing with the death of my mother, and like, that was, and the fact that Finny was dealing with like mortality and like everything that comes with that, and like maybe even like finding a way to pass on and be at peace. Like, I didn't know that I needed that at the time that I created that character. But Finny sticks with me because there's a lot of things about that show and about that character that it was just me being vulnerable. It was just me. It was Anita working through those problems as Finny was working through those problems.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely the content.
Season 2.
Yeah. Season 2. Season 2, if that ever were to happen, season 2 would, if I could be back, I would be back as Finny's spouse. I would be back as Jolissa.
Oh yeah, you mentioned that, and that like got my head turning, because like I've been taking some brevity from writing my homebrew world, just because that was such a very intense creative experience for me, especially through the pandemic, because I was going through a lot. We all were going through a lot during then, and still are. But yeah, like I've been taking some notes about things that come up in my brain about, like, if I was to do a season 2 or a continuation or somewhere else in the world, because basically, like, if Finny's partner ever came into the story, if this ever got to be able to play, it wouldn't be on the same continent, and like you would get put back to probably wherever you were from in the world, which obviously we would have to work through because we've only seen one continent of my world. So it's really, really exciting to think about stuff like that, especially when it comes to like longevity of a character, because like for anybody in chat who may not have watched, spoiler alert, I'm just going to tell you, Finny had to basically ascend into godhood and switch with their partner, because their partner had ascended into godhood because they made a deal with a fae princess.
Yeah.
And so if they ever switch places, I would want them to come back and have that experience, because now Finny is a god in my world, in my pantheon. And it's beautiful because like Anita sent me a bunch of information, like the symbol and stuff like that. And as I go through and develop more of my pantheon more concretely, I'm definitely going to come back and ask more questions about how Finny would be in deityhood, because that's so powerful. And like, I'm so glad that like you could find a lot of like just strength from Finny in the ways that you needed to, that you didn't even know that you needed to. Like, that's the power of RPGs in a nutshell, you know?
Mm-hmm. So everybody in chat, D is now going to go mad with power because I gave them moderator privileges. Congratulations.
Yay!
You have ascended. You have also ascended to godhood.
I love it.
Cass is somewhere eating anchovy toast, and honestly, thank God.
Just being a bully over here trying to force something into fruition. Season 2, make it happen. They cast me.
Yes, here for it. Because I love playing games with Justin so much.
But I mean, I just bringing it back to the whole being able to have explicit content in your game. Just be responsible, and I think one of the things that I know that I work at when I'm DMing or GMing rather, uh, reading body language, trying to read your players is very important. Like taking a beat to just like, I know that when I'm GMing, I can get so into the world that like everything is a blur and like I've got this mental picture in my head that's just so fucking vivid that I'm just trying to make sure that I communicate all the details that I can see and trying to make sure that everybody is on the same page. But take a step back every now and then and just kind of look at the faces of the people that you're playing with. If you see anybody like whatever it is, ease off or drop a O in chat.
Yes.
Question mark. Oh, with the question mark. It's all you need is to make sure that everybody is okay, everybody's on the same page and still enjoying themselves.
Yeah, and I mean, that even goes for obviously more than just explicit content. Like, I played in terror games, I played in horror games, and sometimes people actually feel that real fear. And sometimes it's very palpable in the moment, and in checking in with your players to make sure that that type of fear is okay to be going through is super important as well. It's not even just with explicit content that could be suggestive for other people. It's any type of content that could be emotional in the game, because sometimes when you're in that moment, sometimes when you're in that character, in that mind space, you are taken with all those true emotions, and they could be overwhelming, and processing them in an immediate instance sometimes is very difficult for people, and in two, processing that all while you're live and other people are watching you process that can be extremely overwhelming and sometimes stressful. So yes, absolutely, always checking in with anybody over any sort of content that could be suggestive in any type of way is super important. And that goes back to communication and transparency with the people that you play with.
Dee says that the O is great for them because I do the same thing. I get into character with my face. I get very expressive. If my character is feeling terror, I will try to express it visually on my face. That's actually like part of the whole like being in character and being on camera in character is you need to be able to be expressive and be able to work with the room and with what you have when you have so much space here to work with. You've got all of this if you want to start. Yeah.
And it's crazy too, because sometimes I think that the people in the tabletop space are even better actors than actors who get paid millions of dollars to do these things, because they sit there and in a 4-inch by 4-inch screen can make me think and feel real emotions that sometimes I watch a movie and I'm like, I'm not connected to these people at all. Like, I get that they're acting too, but I don't know. Sometimes I really feel like people really own the fact that they can act in such a small window, literally. And that's so, I don't know what it is about it, but it's just like how I feel about improv. It's just so powerful, and you can just take so much from that and give so much into that.
Absolutely.
And it's really fun when you feel confident enough to actually embody, like literally physically embody and move and have those sort of mannerisms like your character does. Because I even do it to the point where like I'll sit like my character. Like if my character's pissed off, she's gonna sit back, you know what I mean? And then like if I'm eager, I'm gonna be really close to the screen. You know, if I'm like questioning, I'm gonna be, you know, sitting off to the side, slumped over. Like I try to be extra expressive in moments like that to even further get my point across, because sometimes I find that sometimes in the moment I'm not quick-witted with words, but it's my body language that helps me get to the meaning or what I'm trying to say or how I'm feeling.
What is it about RPGs that makes us forget how to speak like actual human beings and like have conversations?
So I feel like I'm on the opposite end of that spectrum. I don't feel like I emote as well as a lot of the other people. Even between the two of you, but I do feel like it's a lot easier for me to speak as a character, which I mean for good or bad. It's just when I'm really in love with the character, their perspective becomes so clear that it's easy to find what they would say at any given time. And have you ever had a moment where your character says something and it's smarter than what you would have thought of?
Yes.
Yep.
All the time.
I had something like that happen over on Unmade Gaming when we were playing our Expanse RPG. It was something to the effect of like my character was putting out a general call for help, and he just used their name after like they came into his room and tried to assassinate him, and one of the members of the party was just like, "Hey, you probably shouldn't say your name because then they'll come looking for you." And like, without even thinking about it, the character was just like, "Well, if they already tried to kill me, then they know who I am, so I'm just gonna call for help." Like it took me a second. Like, wait, that's kind of right.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought of that because what my party member was saying made complete sense. Don't put your name out there. But it's just like what Adrian was thinking was also like, okay, that's all the money. So it's just like I feel like getting into the character's mindset is something that is a lot easier for me than their physicality.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I've also noticed that if I'm in a scene with another character and they say something, I know the call and response, and I know that if they say something, might be what they expect me to say back. But then something will pop into my head and I'm like, no, that's better. That's more interesting. Let's go with that. And it'll just throw me off on that complete different tangent. So like
I love that.
We were talking, I was having a conversation with another character in the game, Celadine, and we were talking about, because she had been taken from her family, she was a mother with like 7 kids, and she was taken and turned into a water genasi by Umberly. She's a cleric of Umberly. And we were having a conversation, and I'm like, because Ophelia was also not necessarily taken, but she ran away from her home. And she said, would you ever want to get revenge against the people, or would you ever want to get revenge? It was something like, would you ever want to get revenge? And she's like, against so-and-so? I'm like, no, against the people that did this to you. She's like, well, the people that did this to me, it's a god that did this to me. I'm like, well, the god, sure, but who took you away from your family? Those were people that did that to you. She's like, zealots, sure, but yeah, and it actually turned into a little bit more of an interesting conversation. Versus what it would be, it was because it was like, would you ever want to get even? Or would you ever want to get even? And she's like, against Wilson, who's our primary beholder, who is our primary villain. No, not him. Who cares about him?
Right.
He's tomorrow's problem. I love playing off Finny for that exact reason. Cass and Finny's banter was chef's kiss.
Oh yeah, you both had really good back and forths. There was good back and forth between everybody in that show, and like Barry, Scrat who played Barry I found Barry's story very appealing. I found Cassandra and Finny's story very appealing, and also why am I blanking on Alex's character's name right now?
Oh, Cassandra, not Finny, not Barry.
Eva. Yeah, and that's why it was so great, because Eva and Barry had so much similarities, but they were so different. And I didn't get to dive deep into Eva's story like I wanted to, because she had she gave me like a 3 or 4 page backstory for Eva. Yeah. And there was so much more involved. And that's why like I brought a little of it in when Barry and Eva went to talk to the Fae Princess and had to
miss that episode.
do their trial together. Yeah, they had to do their trial together, because what I had wanted for Eva's story was to find found family, because she had kind of run away from her family, from my understanding, and just kind of like was out on her own and like didn't really have much to cling to. So that's why like I kind of twisted it and turned it, because she found such a partner in Barry, and they had very good play on one another, and always really entertained the rest of the group. They were the comedic brevity of the campaign. And so tying character stories together in that way, and just being able to let you all play off one another so naturally was really like, it was so rewarding to see, because you all had such really intricate backstories. And Barry, who didn't even really give me a backstory, I created the story for him, and he felt like he was really a part of it. And the ending, when he was the only one who did not take it,
a deal. Yeah, Barry was the only one that just, and
I was not prepared for that. I genuinely thought you all would just take the deal, because Barry was like, oh, I want to be famous, and this was a way for him to achieve fame, but in a different way. And he was like, no. He's like, I'm okay. He's the only one. Him and Eva were, him and Eva were the only ones really left that remembered anything that happened, because, you know, you got turned into a god, so it's not like you could tell anybody what happened.
No.
And Cassandra basically got her memory erased and went back in time. So like it was this wonderful ending. I like morally gray stories. I like when you have to make a decision and both choices equally fucking suck.
Yes.
And when you beat the big bad evil, you don't beat the big bad evil. There's still more, because the whole premise of that story was balance. And that if you knock something out of balance, something else is going to come and take its place to create that balance once again.
If Finney ascended to godhood, his partner had to become immortal again.
Yeah, and that's the balance. So, and that's basically what I tried to explain, very nuanced in everybody's choice making, was that one, every choice has a positive and a negative. And two, there is a balance to all sides of the coin, to both sides of the weight. Like, you have to give to take, and you have to take to give. Like, that is just the nature of the world. And to do that in such a grandiose way, and also do that for you all individually in your own minute ways, was genuinely rewarding. And like pulling that off in the way that we all did was just wonderful.
Shout out to the magnificent the partnered streamer, Madame Gandalf, for playing Eva so beautifully and so wonderfully. She's not in chat at the moment, but I just thought I'd give her a quick shout out, because the partnered streamer, which is hilarious to me, because I was the one that started that freaking thing, and it happens on every stream now. Every stream she comes in, it's always the partner. The partnered streamer, Madame Gandalf. I
love it. Just a wonderful being of a human. That human, she's wonderful. If you don't know Madame Gandalf, you don't know Alex, please go follow. She's amazing. She owns the Green Dragon Tavern. She's great. And just a whole, like, what I found really compelling about her character Eva was that Eva kind of ended up, because she got this magical instrument, could see people's auras. And that was something so crazy, because like when I looked at all of you, like I'm not somebody who's like, oh my god, your chakras, they're out of line, your energies, they're off, but like I could physically see you all glowing. And it was just like, to be able to kind of put that into the game as well for her, and to give her that ability and that higher insight to people, was just like, it was so fun the way that it molded with the instrument and her playing the different types of music without actually trying to. Bye,
Husha Kid.
Yeah.
We'll miss you.
Yeah, it was really rewarding the way that things kind of like were created. And like, my whole thing is, if you run a homebrew, go buck wild with it. Let your insight checks be weird. Let your environment be weird. Let magical instruments and let magic items be different and crazy and fun and wild. Go buck wild with it, because why the fuck not? It creates such more an engagement between you and your players, and it lets your players engage with the world so much more.
Absolutely. Like, have that giant behemoth under an entire mountain that will move. If the right circumstances are met. Have, like, a rot god that is going to destroy all of creation if you do not try and stop them. Like,
create a brand new school of magic.
Create a brand new fucking school of magic. Let people go wild with it.
So, I recently have become very lucky I'm going to start running games for kids online.
Yes!
And one of the kids recently changed his character to a rogue, but he wanted to be an arcane trickster. And in his backstory, he said that he was musically inclined, so his parents sent him to Bard College. And he decided that he didn't want to be a bard anymore. He wanted to go hang out with the thieves and be a thug and be a punk kid. So he decided to join a thieves guild, but he still had his magical bard powers. So he's kind of a multi-class without being an actual multi-class. And, and it's things like that I'm saying, yes, go, sure, yes, absolutely. You want to be a rogue, but cast your powers with a magical loot. Sure, I don't care. Let's go with it. Let's run with it and see where it goes. Like, I like things like that are just like super like just go with the flow, take it and run.
Yeah,
like those moments are sometimes the most memorable in games.
Yeah, exactly. And just like in life, you get so much more joy out of things if you just splash a little fuck it every once in a while.
Every now and then, just put a dash of fuck it in there.
Yep.
I do have a questions for the GMs among us, which is both of y'all. What do you do when one character's story is not as interesting as somebody else's? Like, how do you spice that up for yourself?
Oh.
I mean, because, look, like parents, GMs aren't supposed to have a favorite. Now, let's be honest with ourselves. We usually end up having a favorite.
We pick favorites.
So, like, how do you check yourself once that happens for you?
So Barry did not give me backstory. Barry, the only backstory I was given was like 2 or 3 sentences that said he just wants to be famous. He doesn't do offensive spells, and everything he does is just a big illusion. He's just one big illusion guy. So when you give me such a small premise to work off of, I personally take it and run with it. I'm like, okay, well then that means no holds barred. I can do whatever I want and put you in these situations because this is what I think your character would respond to. Now, if I put them in that situation and they respond positively, I build on that situation and I take it a step further, and then I build a story arc for them based on their response. If they respond negatively, I will try a different avenue. I will try a new situation. I will try approaching it differently to see their reaction. And once they give me a reaction that seems like they're interested, they're engaging, or that's something that they find compelling, then that's kind of where I'll take it and mold it and shape it. But it's very subjective to each character. But I really try to wrap them in to be on the same level as everybody else who has a consistent story or an arc that they are working through. Because I never want one person in the party to feel left out or feel like they are behind or feel like they're not doing enough. So I'll spotlight them. I'll make them, be like, oh, well, you're walking through the town and not even rolling a perception check, but you pick up on something nobody else does in the party. So it's information that they have that nobody else does, so that gives them a chance to insert and interject themselves and bring more of that character into the story to give me more things that I can then build off of for them.
Mm-hmm. So you have to it's almost like fishing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you give them you throw it a little bit of bait, and then if they take it, you reel them in.
Yeah.
I think you both hit on like exactly how I handle it.
And if Ray really likes your character, she'll turn them into a jar of Kool-Aid.
You pulled the void card. What was I supposed to do with that besides just eject you into some other plane?
That's another question, actually. I'm actually glad you brought that up. How do you feel, like, honestly, about
loved every second of it, though.
Donation for storylines?
Me personally, that was the very first campaign I ever ran fully. Like a full story I got to complete with characters. It was difficult. It was very difficult. Although so when I was doing it, one of the donations for like our hype train and everything was pulling from the deck of many, which we did a lot. I used the deck of many as basically tarot cards. I used them as ways that they can influence this specific character in these situations. I did not try to separate my story from that or force it into my story. I molded it into a way where it would make sense. So like obviously like Cassandra pulled the void card. Cassandra had been protected by this Fae entity that they were seeking out and didn't know that they were protected by. So basically I used it as a way for her to it was a controversial way of protection from an entity that needed her around and felt like her life was in compromise at the moment. She's like, nope, I'm going to turn you into this so that you can't really do anything and you can just sit and wait until I'm ready for you to go off and do your adventure.
Yeah.
So like it's all about, I think, the intention of the DM. Like if you have all the intentions to change your story every single week depending on what people donate, by all means, absolutely, yes, I'm there for it. But for a story like this that I had written and I needed things to work out a certain way or sort of like shift momentum when I needed the momentum shifted, it was a little bit of a struggle because I felt obligated because people spent effort and money and time to be doing that. So it was a struggle for a little while, but once we got into the swing of things and I realized that I was starting to use them as influences and not actual like must be done forced into story, it was much more fluid and very easy to bring those things into story. So much so that I could do it instantly instead of waiting for the next session for it to happen.
Exactly.
Yeah, I kind of struggle with the whole donation game influencing thing. I feel like one of the staples of any good TTRPG is that the GM is the end all be all of the world, and like if anything wrestles that control from the GM, I feel like that happens at a detriment to the story. So like because I've been looking to run a few different games on a few different channels, and I've been really considering like, and this might sound pretentious, but like, do you lose something in the story you're trying to tell
If there's like
if that is
if it's the thing, there's even like the idea of the automatic success or like the natural 20 or like the advantage on rolls, which does also, I think, take a little bit away from the story, because if your players have like, because we had a lot of freaking advantages by the end of that, because we had a hype train every single night we ran Running Shadows, we had a hype train. And so that means we had a buttload of advantages. You had a buttload of disadvantages. We had so many natural 20s and like everything, and it just felt like we couldn't lose by the end of it, right?
Yeah,
I just had to burn everything.
And through that experience, it really got me to understand that my DM style is not quite suited for D&D specifically, because I don't do a lot of rolls in my game. I like a light roll, like light rules, light rolling. I like more story driven and improv and role play based games. So like that was also a learning experience for me, because every week I was like, how can I make them roll for things? I'm just gonna have them roll for this because they have all these things that I wanted you to use, but then it just like, you all were just so good at role playing every week that I just let it run and let it run and let it run, because it was just so natural that I didn't want to stop it to be like, oh, well, how about you roll for that? And you just use an automatic success anyway, so we can take it off the board and move on. Like it was a little bit wonky at times. But what I wanted to ask you, Anita, is because you are making your own RPG channel, is that something that you think that you're going to implement? Is that something that you're interested or experimenting with at all?
I don't know if I would do automatic successes or natural 20s. I might do, because Lydia actually just brought something up that seems very interesting. She was in an all rogues game. The channel had a point redemption option where something weird happens. And whenever it got redeemed, a weird thing happened. It was still sort of integral to the story.
That's cool.
I like that. I really like that idea. Yeah. I like it, maybe like a plot twist where like a villain shows up ahead of time or that sort of thing, more so than like automatic success or automatic failures. I don't know. One of the things that the channel, my Wednesday game, Joshua Barbo's channel, he doesn't want natural 20s or like anything like that for point redemption options because feels that it gets rid of the integrity of the story.
Yep.
But if you subscribe at higher tiers, like if you subscribe at tier 2 or tier 3, you actually get to affect like the B plot.
Oh!
You get to affect a group of adventurers that is coming in after the players, after the PCs leave. And here's what happens to this town. Or
wow!
here is what the
okay.
villains are going to do. Here is what is going to happen with this major NPC that you don't know what's happened to them. And all that happens in like private channels on the Discord that none of the players see, so we don't know what's going on behind those scenes.
I love that.
It's a good idea. It's definitely a good concept.
Yeah, see, like I'm a huge fan. Like, if you're gonna do like a donation table, like I'm a huge fan of rerolls. I think rerolls are awesome, and they don't super affect the game highly. They just give you it's like a luck roll. It's like you all just get luck points, and I think that's really awesome because it could make it worse, it could make it way better. But it's still up to the roll. It's not an automatic. You must let me do this thing.
I do like the idea of having like a reroll instead of like, or like having a luck.
Yeah, just using it basically as like luck points. I think that's like a really good kind of mid-ground. Yeah.
I think there are some systems that function better.
Yes.
With mechanics that can be utilized via donations than others. I think personally, I think Dungeons and Dragons is terrible for anything involving donation tables because it's all so statistically based and crunch focused that, you know, adding in a third party influence just kind of knocks things off kilter a little bit. Like I said, I'm writing a setting for the Urban Shadows world. In Urban Shadows, I feel that the mechanics of debt play far better into something like a donation, mainly because it's not just PCs having debt with each other, but it's PCs having debt with NPCs and other factions throughout the world. Yeah. And you can call in those debts whenever.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, I know Unmade Gaming has a corruption bar where it's not just one donation, but if donations hit a certain point,
they stack.
Then something happens. Like so I think just like having like a static bar like that, where if we hit $50 in the donation, a random NPC calls in a debt. I think something like that is a lot more functional within the story in the game, and it doesn't get in the way of the story that the GM is trying to tell. And that's just been something that I've personally been wrestling with. Like, if I did end up running a story on a channel that does have something like this, how can I utilize it where I don't feel like I have a gun to my head in how I tell the story?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and with Encounter Roleplay, so like the when we played the Terror RPG, and now that we are playing Urban Shadows, their donation pool or donation track has been like, they do retweets. So it's like every 5 retweets, this thing happens. Every 10 retweets, something like this happens. And it's like all it is a plot twist, or a major plot point is revealed. So it gives the DM so much maneuverability of what that means and how it plays into the story. And it's also, like you said, like a pool. So you have to like fill up the bar before the thing happens. And it's not like everybody is an individual, like it's not all separate where you have multiples that stack up. And then over time, you're like, oh my God, I'm so overwhelmed. All these people donated and I don't know how to, introduce these into the game. Mm-hmm. And it helps with the fluidity of things, because it's not like you have to stop every single time somebody donates and then say, oh, thank you. This is now this, and this is now this, and this is now this. Yeah. It's like gradually up to a moment, and then that moment is made bigger and made grander. And I think that influences the story way better than a lot of small individual like things, except for like rerolls, which are very, they're very individualistic, but at the same time, it's not going to entirely derail the campaign.
Yeah.
Which is really, really what it's about, is like how far can you take something like that before it's actually detrimental to the story and the people trying to tell it?
Absolutely. Like Latia says in chat, it's having something that's a part of the story the players might not even be aware of, ready for situations. Like, that might be neat. Or, especially if you know that sort of influence that's possible when you're playing. It's like fragments of possibilities, like Dee says.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, yeah.
Yeah. It's like, like, here's, like a plot thread being revealed. Or the players get a hint to something.
That's so powerful. Yeah, it's like, as a character, like, I don't know, like when I play Urban Shadows and I know that at 20 retweets we're gonna get a giant plot twist, and we're at 18 retweets and I'm like, shit, man, that plot twist is coming. What's it gonna be? Like something's gonna happen. Oh my gosh, what's it gonna be? And then when it happens, yes, you get your players invested, and also when it happens, it's more of a genuine reaction because they know it's coming, but they have no exact idea what it's specifically going to be.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun when you get to, one, kind of mess with your players, but two, also create community engagement. And that's like a fine line that I feel like a lot of people teeter on, is what's too much and what's not enough.
Yeah. I'm writing down notes on like what I want to do, because after this stream, with any luck, after this stream, fingers crossed, I should hit affiliate. Fingers crossed.
Yay!
Assuming,
oh my God, that makes me so happy.
Assuming that this actually gets registered in Twitch's API as a unique stream, because I had that problem. I've streamed 7 times, but it's only picked up 6 of them for the. I don't know why.
Weird.
It's real weird. It's real weird. And I asked Twitch and they haven't responded to me yet, but it is what it is. Anyways, but yes, now that I have the idea of doing a hype train and like those sorts of things, like goals for the channel, I really want to actually figure out what I want to do for it, for donations or for subs or for bits or like anything like that. And I like the idea of having plot threads or having like things like that, or like even like you said, luck points or rerolls or that sort of thing. They're all things that I'm sort of trying to noodle around in my brain, more so than just going and like just doing like natural 20s.
Yeah, another suggestion that I have, and something that I saw on Saving Throw Show. So I watch Pirates of Salt Bay, and they, for their season finale, had accrued so much, almost like we did for Routing Shadows. They had accrued so much rerolls and all these crazy things that they have for their donation pools, that they basically created a giant pool for everybody to use. And they were a point pool. So you could roll, say you roll a 12, but you want to bump it up to a 15. You take 3 of those point pools to bump it up to get, another threshold of a success. Or if you want to use it for damage, they used it for damage too. So it was like extra damage. If you want to add 5 extra points of damage onto this roll or to this, hit that you created, you could do that too. And that was something that was really interesting to me, because it didn't derail the story. It didn't make it OP, because it's not like you can use all 400 points at the same time. You know what I mean? Like, there's obviously a threshold of how many you're allowed to use at one given time, but like things like that are things that I think are really cool too, for the entirety of the group to have one thing to choose from, like this pool that they can all share. So that you have to like really be super strategic with how much you use it and how often you save your things. If you know that a battle's coming up and you want to throw on some extra damage, you bump up the pool a little bit and save your points, and everyone just like plays normal for a while. And I think things like that are kind of interesting too, like group pools.
There's actually games that have that, those pools, like things. Though Dee also brings up a good point, Hunger Games style, where it's like your donations are donations, like things get airdropped into the game.
I was just looking at that, and I'm like,
that's a cool idea too.
I kind of want to run a game
like a battle
based on that idea.
Yeah, that's not a bad.
Like that would be fucking sick.
We're stealing that, Dee. You're in.
Dee, you keep coming up with shit for me to steal.
Supply drops, like at a $5 level, it's this type of supply drop. At $10, it's this type of supply drop. I feel like something like that could be really interesting too, and that could be so subjective to the game, because it's like if the smallest tier is like 2 items and like 2 health packs, and then the next one is like 3 items and 3 health packs. Maneuverable.
I was just gonna say, I think that one of the things that I would like to do, because I am a slut for stories. Like everything that happens in my game has to be about the story. So like, I feel like if you donate and make something happen in my game, you're in that world now. Like you are, and I think that could be fucking cool. Like somebody donates, they not only get the supply crate, but they find out who it's from, and that in and of itself could be like, who is this person? Why are they invested in me? Kind of deal.
Yeah.
Like now you have a patron.
We could be having so much more fun with this shit rather than just you get an extra reroll and you get an extra 20 and you get like fuck it, let's go all in.
Yeah. Let's make a rich. Let's have sugar daddies and sugar mamas.
Yeah, let's make TTRPG
let's have
sugar daddies.
Let's have sugar parents.
I mean, honestly, Sphinx would be the sugar daddy in so many goddamn different streams because that motherfucker comes in and clutch. I think Sphinx is responsible for saving at least 3 of my characters.
Glucose Guardians. Yeah. Glucose Guardians. Yeah, Sphinx always comes in with the donations and the bits and the subs. Like, for real.
Oh my gosh.
For real.
For real.
I be feeling bad sometimes, like,
so
dog,
many
relax.
first badges I see on Sphinx. So many first badges. But yeah, there's actually games where there's a mechanic for that, where it's like a giant pool. Like Star Trek Adventures has what's called momentum, where if you get over the threshold of successes, you have a pool of momentum. It's like capped at 5 or 6, I think. But you can use that to succeed on a roll. You can ask the DM or GM an honest question, and they will have to answer you honestly.
Oh.
You can spend it to get extra dice for rolls.
I love that.
Yeah, so that's actually even a
I'm
good
so
idea.
immature. I just immediately thought of a situation where, like, dude's like, "Did you sleep with my wife, Greg?" Like, you have to answer me truthfully.
Oh, that kind of sparks an idea. A quick idea is like having instead of having
Bitch, you know.
Instead of having a table for your community to donate on, them just donating to like a pool, like I said, but then having your players have a table of things that they can buy with those points.
With those points. Absolutely. Ooh. I like that idea. I'm writing that down.
So like, yeah, so it's like, hey, can I spend 5 points of the pool for a reroll? Or hey, can I spend 10 points, 20 points to get a special magic item, or something like that for the players to have the table instead of the community having the table, because that way you can structure it in your game to be more consistent and actually flow with what you want to do.
The only thing that I worry about with that is if you have a party of people that don't cooperate, and so there's just like, yo, we've got 10 points in the tank, and I want to spend 2 points.
I want to spend all of the points for this magic item.
Yeah,
I think.
Well, that's the thing too, is that forces your players to communicate and
engage
work together.
With each other.
Like, it kind of forces you all to have this camaraderie and group mentality. And if you do play a character that's greedy, it's like then you're separated, and that it just creates, I think, an interesting sort of dynamic. But also, yeah, so obviously you don't want it to impede on your game at all. But like, if you get the right group of people, I think that could be really awesome.
that would have to involve
this
the
right
group
became the
of
think
people.
tank, says D. Yes.
Yeah, it just became a good think tank.
You never know what you're gonna get with Morning Ritual.
That's good.
It's real good.
I just know that I've been in some parties where if like that point system thing took off, like I'd be fucked.
Or on the flip side, GMs get a threat pool where they could add adversity to the game.
That's cool.
Because there is actually in the Modiphius system and in the Star Trek Adventure system, there is your GM at any given point in the game, like at the beginning of each session, can take a certain amount of points of threat for a system that they can add to spice up things, or say,
I like that.
I can make this roll a lot more difficult for you because I'm spending a point of threat, or I am spending a point of threat to make something happen.
That's crazy. That's awesome. I love that.
Dee would like to know how we combine all these great ideas with booty.
Booty. I love it.
Well, obviously, D, you spend points to clap them cheeks.
Yeah.
Hey, it's Puddin'!
Hi,
Hey,
Puddin'.
Puddin'.
Hey, Puddins. How you doing? This
I'm
is
sorry, I'm just going slap happy now.
it is that simple. It is that simple, D.
Takes a good idea, just
But
put
it
cheeks
costs
to
you a lot of points to slap them cheeks. We'd be clapping cheeks. Welcome to the show. We've talked character creation alternatives to role-playing games. We have talked music. We have talked
consent.
And we have talked which mythological creature has the best ass.
Yep.
We decided it was Tiamat.
It was Tiamat.
Yep.
Tiamat is packing a wheelbarrow.
Got the deadliest cheeks.
The deadliest cheeks. And we've been talking point systems for streams, like potential dono systems. Yeah, we actually got a lot accomplished today, and it's like we're at the 3-hour mark.
Yeah.
We're at the 3-hour mark. Wow,
Damn.
it's almost no longer
I think
morning
that's
where
enough
I am.
show for you motherfuckers.
Yeah.
I mean, do we want to start doing our sign-offs? Doing our what we are, what we're doing, who we are? Please support
you motherfuckers
us.
ain't getting no more free show.
No more free show. You gotta pay. You gotta subscribe.
You gotta pay for the rest.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. I love it.
For morning ritual after hours.
Oh my goodness.
For morning ritual, the dark roast.
Yeah.
Head over to our OnlyFans account. No, we don't have OnlyFans.
I got an account. What's up? All right, so
don't know any of y'all, so I'd like to hear about you. Oh, needs don't tempt me. So yeah, we'll start with our wonderful guest down here.
Hi. Hey, I'm Ray. I'm with the Brick on the interwebs. I play tabletop games. I've been playing tabletop games for a while. Right now, I'm currently only on Encounter Roleplay. So we come back from our break in 2 weeks. So 2 weeks, Friday at 5 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Eastern. I play Urban Shadows. Right now, I play a character. Her name is Ida June. She is an Oracle, and she's super badass, and I love her very much. So come and hang out and absolutely get to know the cast and crew. They're great. And also, I have just hit Twitch affiliate myself. So I am variety streaming over on my own Twitch channel. I'm there pretty consistently, almost full-time, but not really full-time. But if you are interested in all of that, you can go to my Twitter, just Withabrickk, and all of that information is there. And yeah. Thanks for having me on. I enjoyed both of you so very much.
So much fun. Thank you for being here.
Yes, I've been meaning to. I tune in every Saturday, even if I'm just lurking since this started. So I'm so glad to actually be on here and chatting with you all. It's just been so much fun today.
I love having. Yeah, I was supposed to have a different guest every day, but then one of my guests turned into my co-host, and.
So worth it.
I hear that guy's an asshole, honestly.
It was worth it. Like a real showboater for let's be honest.
It was great.
So we'll move over to my wonderful co-host, Noir Enigma.
Hi. I'm Noir Enigma. You can find me on all the socials as Noir Enigma, except Twitch because I forgot my password. So here I am, Noir Enigma 1. I will be continuing my quest for affiliate soon. As soon as I get this overlay and caption thing figured out. I made stream today just for the shits and giggles of it, though. On Sundays, you can catch me over on Chromatic Chimera, where we play a Call of Cthulhu game called Clockwork Vine, where we are hunting a eldritch chipmunk. It's a good time. Check it out. On Mondays, when the next season of Encounter comes up, Dr. RPG will be coming back, so that'll be a fun time as well. We answer all your questions in characters like Dr. Ruth, but for RPGs. Good times. On every other Tuesdays over at TPK Roleplay, I play in the Harpers, where I play your favorite broody boy, the Shatterkai elf, Hal.
My favorite
right
boy.
now. right now he just went to the Shadowfell and saw his family and then had to leave, so he is kind of hurt. On every other Wednesday, you can catch me on Last HP Hero, where we are playing the Curse Straw game. I play a barbarian Goliath who simply wanted to go to Barovia to fist fight a immortal, but now he has a dog and a child. So that happened. On Thursdays,
I was a single father.
Yeah, I know, right? He's just doing the best he can. He's trying to find out what class has the best 401k. Now this Thursday we've got the season finale of Perilous Sun coming up, where I play a gnome who is now a narcissist and he considers himself a god. So come check us out on Chromatic Chimera, you filthy plebs, and see if Charm can survive it. Also on Thursdays on Unmade Gaming, I am in Entanglement. I know, right? I just have so many.
No, I love it.
Shit. I'm sorry.
No. He's like, I'm not in or in enough shows. On enough shows.
I know.
We will have to get
right?
that changed, D. I'm gonna bring you on.
Yeah, I want to fucking play with you motherfuckers. But anyway, Unmade Gaming, I am in Entanglement, which is a game based on the Expanse, where I play Adrian Cox, a politician whose secretary got shot in the head, and I'm still very sad about it. And on Fridays, nothing! That's when I sleep! Except System Shock, we're gonna do Monster Hearts 2 on Critical Miss. So after
that's this channel.
Then I might sleep. I just realized the heart logo on Critical Miss is the 1 and not the 20 because it's Critical Miss. And that's me, everybody.
Love it.
Love this.
So much.
I am here for this. Hi, everybody. I'm Anita or Panita. You can find me here on Twitch at PanitaXO. You can find me on Twitter just at Panita. You can find me also on Twitter at Critical Misses, but I don't tweet there nearly often enough. This is my channel. Thank you all for stopping by. Hopefully after this stream I'll hit affiliate. We'll see exactly what happens. If that does, I'm going to be doing something tomorrow. Maybe just like a chill chat session again. This previous Thursday I did, we built a system world building chat, and that was super fun. We did a world building from the ground up, and it actually turned into me making a PBTA based game. So
love it.
I did the slippery slip into game design. Fridays we do System Shock, where we take an RPG and we learn how to play it from just the rule book and no other prep. And then every other Saturday I am here on Morning Ritual. This is my show. This is who I am. This is what I do. Thank you all so much for stopping by. I love each and every one of you so much. So much. And then the heart breaks because it's time to leave. Until next time, everybody, thank you so much for stopping by. And until next time, this concludes the Morning Ritual.
Hey, we did the thing. That's the call off.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.